And another aspect of that economic policy was once I received the ability to do so, I invested heavily the state account into the sanitation market, because the sanitation market and the production of the materials associated with recycling and whatnot are a huge factor in people establishing themselves in Los Santos right now, because they're able to make their furniture, they're able to make various those materials essentially became an essential part of establishing their identity. I spent over almost 60 days. I call it the 60-day sanitation plan because it was almost 60 days. It was worth about $60 million from the state account. So the state account's making money the whole time, but also it was spending money specifically on sanitation work. And that was a huge drain on the state account. And I to the point where it was unsustainable. All of these changes happened prior to election season. I barely touched anything, probably for the last month or so, because I needed to be able to sustain that reinvestment into the sanitation market. Because while I was able to affect people's pay and have them earn more money, that still left a void where people felt like, and the sanitation robberies were a huge influence in this as well. I wanted to reinvest so that there were more people working sanitation, so that there were more people out there collecting these supplies, and simultaneously reducing the need for them to be robbed, because there would be more stuff on the street for these people that were robbing them to purchase for, because there would be more stuff, and because there was more stuff, they might even be cheaper as a result. What actually ended up happening, much to my chagrin, is that people... Oh my God, get that motherfucker away from the door! What actually happened is that a large majority of these people actually began hoarding their materials and not providing them in which is fine at the end of the day. I don't expect people to convert all of their stuff into like repair parts for cars. It's unreasonable. Long story, I'm kind of rambling here because this is something I'm super passionate about. So I'll just cut it off here. I was in big spender mode pretty much the last 2 months of my first campaign. Now, I have pulled out of reinvestment into sanitation almost entirely. I did that pretty much the day or a day or two after I was reelected, to allow the state account more time to recover, and it has a significant amount. I think at one point we were down to 43 million, and that would have been probably the day of the election. Now we're at least the last time I checked last night, about 12 hours ago, we were at 61 million.
That's 65 before I came here.
Damn. Okay, so that's good. My goal is to get to about 70 or 80 million, and then to reinvest into the sanitation market, because that is still a huge issue for a lot of people. Like, repair parts are scarce right now, and that is evidence to me that people probably don't have what they need right now. So basically, we're without dropping pay, we are allowing stuff to build up so that I can do another golden age toward the end of my term. That's my policy.
Can I ask then why EMS and doctors are still 250?
Oh, they're 500.
They're not.
Less than the DLC are being paid, so it would still be a good discussion to have.
Oh, I gotta hold on.
Yeah.
As for
do you not have keys, Cornwood?
He's signing in as a cop right now.
Yeah, we can't do both.
Ooh.
For doctor and EMS pay, Cantor and I are more than welcome to discuss that after this meeting, if she so pleases. Right now,
Does it have to be a private discussion? Can we I mean, we're all here.
well,
I would have been happy to. I just haven't seen you.
I've been around.
I have been around a lot more. I can promise you that. I've been looking.
You've been looking for me?
Yes, I have. I was told you might be around way later, but I've actually stuck around that time and still not seen you quite a few days.
Yeah, the last time we met, you said you would talk to me in 2 to 3 days.
Yes, and then I did not see you.
Okay. And that was like a week and a half ago.
Yes. I have not seen you in that time.
I mean, we could have easily hashed this out right then and there, you know.
Well, you were incapacitated in the bed at the time. It felt wrong to jump it on you, but yes, I did agree to speak.
I was the one who brought it up, and I was ready to do it.
I would have been happy to. You offered to speak in a few days, so I agreed to.
No, I offered to speak right then and there, and you told me that we would be able to meet with me in 2 to 3 days.
All right.
You did not offer that.
Can I back and forth with y'all real quick? Just keep it civil on this side to it. I'm happy to mediate if you guys want to it. Can I just put out a suggestion?
Sure.
Here, real quick. Why don't I work with them real quick? Same thing with DOC that we were just talking about, or Dogtown. Actually understand their expenses and how much it actually costs for them.
I haven't actually, if you're interested.
Well, at some point, yeah, could you send those to me? But at the same time, I know I didn't really get to talk about this too much. But Max, I'd like to do a kind of a full fair market value assessment as to what people are actually making, and legislation wise is basically put in a minimum wage that cannot go below that without some sort of authorization.
From who?
Well, that's why I would like to. Well, from the whole council at that point.
Okay.
They have to be voted on.
Yeah, draft something up.
I will. But I just don't want to go back and forth with not available days back and forth, not productive. But just trying to keep it at least factually based. All right?
Sure, sounds great.
I mean, if we want to have a minimum wage, I mean, how are we gonna, make sure we're getting the money to be able to pay the minimum wage?
Well, that is entirely with it. I mean, these are from your side to it, right, Cornwood, and from Doctors EMS. You're technically, I would classify as a.
Let's see if Max can handle some oversight. He doesn't know.
Emergency tier type of government job, like a, how you do it during the pandemic and shit like that.
Unaware chatter.
Essential workers?
Yes, essential workers. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. I'm sorry. I'm on
I got you. No worries.
sleep right now. Essential workers, right? And so you deem what is essential worker, and then you put it as that side to it, and they should still be compensated to a point where it is agreeable based upon their time, their education, and what they're being provided to the city.
Okay. So,
you fill us in?
Numbers wise, you stated before something like Grime was taking 10 million out in a day or something. At the math,
towing.
adding up, towing was okay. Adding up the math of every single hours that was done the last month, it was a total of 2,082 and a half hours out of doctors. At the rate we were at before, at 1050, that is barely over 2 million in an entire month. And we have no other expenses.
Cool.
That is perfectly reasonable, I believe.
So I mean, doctors have no overhead, right? I mean, do you guys have to pay for your supplies and stuff?
No, we do not. Which is why this information is based purely on hours alone. EMS, I still stand by, should be higher. But I only have the statistics. Hours based for doctors. I actually do have all of the numbers for EMS and their expenses, which I would be happy to share with TJ as well.
Who chose Happy as the chief of EMS?
They voted. There were three
voted
different
internally?
People. Yes. Between all the EMS.
I had a very alarming conversation with him probably about a week before election where I asked him how things were going. And I was like, who are you voting for? And he told me, hey, I can't really discuss that. I was like, fine, whatever. He proceeded to bombard me for about 15 or 20 minutes about the various woes that he, as the chief of EMS, was facing. Primarily, the horrible prospect of having to ask other EMSs to possibly contribute just a small amount of money to a communal fund where they could all chip in to replace their shared ambulance engines. And I sat down, and he kept very good records in his defense, where he was very thorough, in which he was able to track how often those engines need to be replaced, and it was about 5 weeks, a little more than 5 weeks, for a $12,000 engine replacement. At the time, and for quite a while, they were being paid $1,300 an hour. $1,300 an hour, every EMS, for more than a month. And what that means is, you know, I like to consider this. How many hours are in 5 weeks? What's that fucking number? 840 hours. Okay. Now what we need to figure out, like, what's the average work time of someone that's doing EMS, or at least was actively doing it at that point. I think Happy himself said maybe he was working about how many hours a week? It was a pretty impressive amount. More than enough to impressively single-handedly replace every engine if he needed to, and then still make money if he were to work every single day for like 7 hours. But the thing was, he didn't need to replace those engines, because those engines did not need to be replaced except for once every 5+ weeks. And sometimes more than that, sometimes less than that, depending on, you know, what sort of trauma that particular ambulance suffered. So it was shocking to me when I said, hey, why don't you go around, EMS Chief Happy, and get people to contribute even $1,000 a day, which is not even 1 hour's worth of pay for an EMS, to a mutual fund where you guys are able to draw on that to replace engines, so you don't have to ask people to do that themselves, because they're all shared vehicles. They don't get to purchase their own vehicles. I wish they could. And he said, well, Max, I just don't feel comfortable asking other EMS to do that. I was like, why? You're their boss. That is a perfect solution to your problem. And he did not seem very convinced at all that that was even a possibility, which then called into question his ability to lead that department. Because if he's not able to make a decision that does not even account for 1 full hour's worth of pay at that point, what else is going wrong? And then I learned what else was going wrong, because my wife encountered a homeless fellow who
Okay.
you know what I'm talking about, the guy that you hired, Jason. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, he's great.
Did you know
He's
that?
amazing.
How long was he going to have to wait for an EMS interview, darling?
Mid-May. He said mid-May.
Oh, there you go.
This was
weeks.
April. This was like from like mid-April, yeah.
So at that point, I realized something, and it was something that Alan Crane actually said when we were discussing raising pay in the past. Money is not a motivator for activity. It isn't. And lowering your guys' pay actually was a great experiment, and this is why I did it. But I did.
Frank, our hours have not gone up. If you're going to try to make that claim, I track all of it. We've had the exact same people working still. We still have downtimes. We still have AU. We struggle with staff. It has been about the same. The only person who's worked more is me. So congratulations. I have made sure to be there as much as possible to make sure I could do things like talk to you.
So it's about the same.
Mhm.
Meaning that lowering your guys' pay actually didn't affect your guys' output at the hospital.
No, it did not. But if you want to make the statement that because we are willing to save people's lives anyway, we should not get paid, sure, yeah. I hope the city sees that.
This is why I wanted to have this conversation in private, because this is a great conversation for me and her to have. And you know, as that sort of thing is the purview of the mayor's office, afforded by the state, it's a decision that I can make myself. So the thing that I wanted to meet with you about, Philippa, is,
Which I'm happy to do. We can still do that.
of course, we can do it now, though.
Okay, sure.
And I would love to do it now.
Sure.
You hold the role of a doctor in high esteem. You hold it in such a way that, and this is, I'm not saying you said this in particular. This is something that was kind of being cried about on Twitter after your guys' pay was lowered. That, you know, why do senior buns workers make more money than doctors? How could that be? How could this honorable profession be worth so little in the eyes of the state, in the eyes of the mayor? Mayor's a piece of shit. Blah blah blah. It's awful. They're super selfless, and I agree. You guys are selfless. I'm not debating that at all. It seemed like the public and yourself hold that particular group to high standard. So do I. The thing that I was going to propose, so that we could get back on, I suppose, restoring your guys' pay to what it was, is that I was interested in seeing two things happen. One thing, the first thing, is I would like, the mayor's office would be very keen on seeing that this high standard that has been set by the public and by yourself is followed through with completely, and that no felons would be able to work for the LSMG, for the medical group. And that would allow me to very easily justify it as a position that deserves that high pay, because you guys are holding yourselves to very high standards, rightfully so. And the second thing is that I would like to see a palpable and productive plan to remove inactive doctors from your roster, maybe once every 3 weeks. Like if someone's inactive for like 3 weeks, that person gets the boot, essentially. Those are the two things that I am personally interested in, and if those can be, we can discuss that now, the terms of that, if you would like.
Okay, let me break this down. To the second point, we do. We are firing 13 people tonight based on their inactivity. We have a system in place where people are marked inactive when they don't complete their hours. If they don't complete them again over the next few months, they're fired immediately. 13 people are being fired. Numerous more are being marked as inactive.
Okay.
Holy shit.
So we have that. For the first point, I know it's been stated here, I'm not a board member. I know y'all think I am, but I'm not high command. I do not make those decisions.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're married to someone on the board, right?
No, I'm not. He is an attending as well.
Oh, who are the people on the board again?
Pixie, Janetti, and Derek Shaw.
Well, I haven't seen Janetti in a long time. He might have been around. I have seen
He's around pretty frequently.
I have seen Shaw, and I've seen Pixie. So I suppose your role as PD liaison now is to.
Have you seen Shaw? I haven't. Jesus.
I saw him briefly. I saw him very briefly. One night. It was
very rare spot.
So, like, are you agreeable to the prospect of making it so that doctors are they can't have a felony at all? Is that something that you would be interested in?
I'm going to be very frank in my answer here, so bear with me.
Okay.
I would have never had an issue with that. If we started out with no felonies, that would have been fine. I never intend to commit a felony. That's no issue.
Right.
However, based on the entirety of my work with you, I do not trust your intentions. And I see this as an easier way to get rid of me.
Wait, why?
I fully expect if this were to be changed, I would have a gun planted on me in a heartbeat. I am currently.
If I may,
hold on. We have the gun plantee alpha subject 0 here. Actually, Mr. Braun.
Patient 0. Yeah, that's true.
What are the what's the likelihood of Miss Cantor having a gun planted on her and being found guilty?
We got like forensic technology that kind of helps with that. My case was particularly unique in that I lost a great deal of short-term memory, in the ordeal. So it was a tricky one.
To be frank here, Mags, what are your motivations then? Because when I heard this, because Siobhan mentioned it to one of my doctors, my only assumption was negative. Is there a doctor you have an issue with? Because we only have approximately 3 doctors that I'm aware of that have felonies as of right now, and I can break them all down. There is Julio Thomas, who has been given an exception purely based on the fact that he is a great goddamn doctor. We've even talked about it here.
I arrested him.
The decision was given to Derek Shaw to come fire him if he wanted to, and the decision was made by him to leave him. There was Giovanna Gambino. She has accomplice to a charge. The officer requested that we not fire her for it. And Adam Maziak, who has reckless driving. That's it. I believe Declan Crane.
Ooh.
Okay.
My intentions were already stated
The Chief Justice Crown always says he's a screw up. So.
Oh, okay.
It's just to gap the disconnect between the perceived honorableness of your role and what is actually happening behind closed doors. And look, I know it's not a super egregious thing right now. I know, like you said, there's only like 3 felons who even work at the hospital right now. Just moving forward, it'll be easy from the mayor's office in the future to justify raising your guys' pay even more if we are able to articulate to the people and to the Council of Eights in the future, whoever takes this role after me, that you know what, maybe you guys do deserve $2,000 an hour because you're fucking confined to the hospital, because you have to stay clean, and all of that shit. I think the standard should be higher.
I mean, G6 is that high, right?
Mm-hmm.
I understand. G6 is, not many other are. That's one example. However, I can see your point. I will say, with the felonies thing, there are most felonies we would fire for. Anything considered even closely violent, anything considered drug related. The only reason the exception is made is for fringe cases like reckless driving, for example. He didn't even evade. The accomplished charge is a bit of a unique one, and obviously, Tulio's the whole thing because that one's up to Derek. But we do. We honestly do. I can bring the example to the board. However, I will not hide from them my beliefs of your motivations as well.
Okay.
I personally
Cletus.
don't want a felon going through my belongings when I can't move under my own power. I don't know.
They don't. They would be fired instantly.
I mean, I think
trust.
We have never once had that happen, and they would be fired for it. We still have standards here, Murphy.
Cletus.
I have a couple things to mention. One, to the gun plant point, like all that bullshit. Like Murphy said, it was it was at a time where we didn't have like the forensic shit that we needed to be able to follow up with that. Two, I mean, there's obviously officer discretion that comes into play here. I think I've personally handled several cases where I've seen a gun planted on somebody, and
Be nice,
it's pretty easy to tell. And it's not so much that you can tell that 100% they had a gun planted, or that 100% they had that gun, used it criminally, but there's enough reasonable doubt there that I personally, using officer discretion, wouldn't feel comfortable charging someone. So I don't really believe in the fear of having a gun planted on you. Can it happen?
Okay.
Yes, but I don't think you should be too worried about that. And,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. To the mayor's point as well, I mean, I think having a felony or having no felons at all in the hospital, and having the job of a doctor be held in such high regard, absolutely justifies higher pay. Confined to the hospital, you have to keep a clean record. I mean, I think I think y'all's pay should go way the hell up, in the long term.
Agreed.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, that's basically it. And you can take that to your superiors and discuss, like, you come back with a counteroffer. I'm always open.
I will absolutely do that
for negotiations. As for EMS, their pay was docked because the person that they voted in to lead them has proven that whatever sort of hiring process is going on, he must not be involved in, or is involved in. And
I believe they have a PNT that does it. I don't know who runs that though. I can look into it for you.
I need to meet with him so that he can tell me the precise particulars of why it's taking 3 weeks for someone to get an interview. Because the EMS are already so short-staffed that it should be an immediate issue that should have been resolved by him, that wasn't. And then the engine stuff, I was just like, listen, man, if my child in kindergarten could have figured out that if everyone came together and worked just a tiny little bit and contributed 45 minutes worth of pay to a mutual fund, that you guys could have solved your engine issue yourself. Why are you complaining to me? Why are you asking me for the 20th time for a state budget? It's not happening. It will never happen. It cannot happen. And that is not even my decision.
To be clear, I will back that up in the discussion with him. I will make it clear that maybe that was my bad on not explaining that well enough when that change of power happened. I had many talks with Kiki about it, but
yeah.
But I will reiterate that to them. to their credit, I can understand how a shared bank account might make that more easy to understand. I think he's struggling with trying to split his money and the
Yeah.
EMS is in one bank account.
That shit's
So
fucked.
that I could see, but yes, I understand it's a limitation right now.
The whole shared bank account shit is also like an aspect of like powers that judges should have that they cannot have that would they would have if the business stuff was prepared. So I understand it requires a little extra work from him. The issue was that I didn't see that he was willing to do that work. And I was questioning, you know, why are they the highest paid role in the city if, you know, they're not improving? I don't know. Yeah.
I can see your point. I do believe they are. And hopefully we can prove that to you. Obviously, you know, I am more of an outside participant on this. But I've been trying to make an active point in discussing with mainly High Command and other members when I get the chance. Things seem good on our end. But I will happily discuss any concerns so we can figure that out.
I have one thing. Go ahead.
Hold on. I wanted to thank Philippa for being reasonable. I know we've had
I
our
appreciate that. You as well.
disagreements. I want to state for the record that a long time ago, I learned that violence is not necessarily a solution to any quarrels that I might have experienced in the past, and that applies to the current day. I mean, none of you any harm or ill will, and I am trying to act in future-proof for people who are going to come after us. That will always be my intention. And I'm sorry I was not as available as I likely should have been for you, Philippa.
No, I understand. It's okay. People get busy. Just glad we can discuss it now.
And I believe in 100% transparency. So that said, were we on you, Philippa, going around the table?
I believe so. Unless you have anything, Solomon. I don't think we were able to get to you yet.
No, I mean,
think he was
like I
just
said, no,
observing.
I was, you know, I had those two questions because they've been asked of me maybe 100 fucking times in the last week, and I need to know what response I can give, what response I should give, and what the current stance is. Which I think, you know, thank you, Mayor, for answering those as succinctly as you did.
Yeah.
So very much, Philippa, we are over to you.
Oh, wait. Actually, Cleus did say
yeah.
he had a point. What was that?
Oh, yes, go for it.
I wanted to ask, did Happy come to you about any other fundraising ideas other than putting together a fund?
No.
Yes.
Sorry. She was asking. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. I have discussed with a few of the EMS a couple different ideas.
Okay.
We've done some. We've been able to raise 90K for them. I'm sure they're heavily publicized by Gossip Gal. We have a little bit of extra cash that Happy had to convince me to give to the doctors because I felt so bad for them. So we've been giving out hourly bonuses to them based on the small amounts that we were given. And then, EMS made 90 out of it. They are planning to do more as well.
Cool.
Yeah, I know Happy. I was talking to him, and Happy came to me with. He said they had ideas for like an ambulance race, and that's something the PD can help, you know, facilitate and kind of stand around, and we can set up barriers and stuff for. And there's like a date night auction, treasure hunt, hide and seek tournament, a triathlon. So on the EMS side of things, I know you know, I'm not to, you know, just to add to what Cantor's saying.
Of course.
I know they were coming up with some more ideas to, you know, help fund on their own, which is I thought that was good to hear.
Absolutely. And just to round off this discussion before we move on, I have to do my due diligence and ask here, is it possible to, in the meantime, increase the pay of either factions? Specifically EMS, they do have far more costs than us.
I can raise EMS to 750 for now until I can make it happy.
That. Thank you.
I'll do it right now.
Nice. Hey.
Hooray.
Fucking love that. There
All right,
you go.
good shit. See, that's what being
As
why?
proactive does.
It's all part of the master plan, Twitch. All part of the plan. Damn. You don't know how to plan in advance. I wouldn't say she didn't fall for anything per se. We're trying to make a point, and I think I don't want to say it to you guys because I don't want it to be meta. No bullshit and Aiden and Forever 0 HP. Thanks for subbing.
Down to communication and just people having a conversation. Is that what I'm hearing?
Wild.
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah.
Okay. Philippa, do you have anything
Hi.
you'd like to present?
Yes. Let me see here.
Zadarian, thanks for subbing.
You discussed transparency.
Mhm.
I do have something I would like to propose for that.
Sure.
To be frank, not my idea initially. I was worked on by Nakota and Etta. However, since they are no longer here, I will bring it forward for them. Let me fill this in.
Okay.
There we are. Should be in City Council documents. The Economic Transparency and Tracking Act.
Is there a reason this wasn't in before the meeting?
I'll just kind of deciding what we have time for, what we want to get done. Didn't want to force anything if we ended up for hours here, just onboarding everyone, you know.
Is this it? Just one line?
Pretty much, yes. The proposal is essentially this. If we agree to it, it's not. It is just.
Well, TJ,
yes.
TJ, this is actually a lot of words for Nakota and Etta, so I think it's actually a lot of words for them.
To be clear, we can expand on this and rework it if we want to. That's how we've done things many times in the past. If you would like to suggest things, sometimes we don't pass things
yeah.
until things are adjusted. So yeah, whatever you've got.
Let me take a stab at this over the next few days because I can work that into some of the other shit that I was talking about.
Sure,
Use my
perfect.
French.
Oh, that's all right.
I see it's being called the Etta Act. All right.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Oh, well, I do have a problem with that, and that's that a couple of months ago, Michael Simone already presented the Ego Act.
Where are we going with that one?
You think Etta has a giant ego of all people?
I don't know her enough.
Oh god, that could have been clever with the right person, but I don't know on that one.
All right. Let me take a look at this, and I'll actually.
Sure. No, that's
flush
perfect.
this
Shout
out.
outs
Yeah,
first,
go
Temple.
ahead.
I'm
it,
a
run with
man
it.
of very, I don't know, a lot of guard rails more than anything else.
That's fair. Yeah, we can definitely do more with this. I brought it as is, so that we
Range,
can
right,
discuss and work on. But absolutely, I'll say it seems like you have a lot of this, so we will rework it.
I will say, for the sake of, I've tried to make most, I've tried to make most changes public.
Sure.
And every time I adjust something, it is actually published in the newspaper.
Really?
Easy. I've never seen.
Yeah,
that. I've seen it shows the
Bottom of the
taxes,
newspaper.
but I've never seen a change to the pay. See, that is also part of this.
Well, I could actually go check right now. I'm not sure about the pay, but I know that the taxes and the
right, the taxes are there.
the taxes and the pay are there. So there's two ways.
It's
There's
changed recently.
Yeah,
actually.
there's two.
Oh, is it? Okay.
There's two different pay changes I can do. One, the state has a base pay for them, and I can adjust it on a slider ish, for lack of a better word. Or in the case of EMS, doctors, PD, and I think one other one I can't really remember, I can actually set a numerical value. I'm gonna go check if that numerical value is in the newspaper. No clip? Good idea. Lag. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Nope. Fuel income, vehicle registration, vehicle part subsidies. Okay. It's not just tax rates, because the vehicle part subsidies has nothing to do with taxes.
Please. I
That's
have Toyota's
interesting.
ass.
Yellow.
Yes.
Thoughts. Max, you already do state announcements when you do changes on things like this. A lot of the time, what if you just wrote them up in a council document first, and that before putting it through the state announcement system, and then just had it dated, and then I don't know, ask Crane to give you publishing abilities so that you can push that forward.
That sounds perfect. You don't have to explain why. Don't worry. I'm not trying to push that. But yes, that'd be great.
I would love to do that, actually.
Yeah, just we can use what we already have.
Every time I make a change, I will put it in a document.
Perfect. I
There you
appreciate
go.
that.
So long as I do not have to adhere to something called the EDA Act.
I'll come with
We'll
something a little
cook on
bit
that
better. I got you.
Yeah. Well, we can talk more. All right. Let's see. Okay, tabling that for now. Let's see what else I got. Since we're, I'll leave the fun one to the end. For the serious discussions, just to do my
No,
due
I'm good.
diligence and vouch for what EMS are requesting. I'll give my 2 big disclaimers here, or 3, I guess. 1, I know all of this is a discussion with John City. I don't know them, so I'm gonna throw this in the void here to see if any of y'all can ask. They have a few things that they want in the future, and all I am asking for is a path forward for them on how they get it and how much it would be, if so.
Okay.
We're not asking the state to pay for it. We're not asking for it right now. I get that. However, their wants and needs currently are the ability to buy their own ambulances. I know we discussed that.
Is this
That's obviously,
specifically EMS requests?
Yes.
Okay,
The
I'm gonna
ability
write
to
it
buy their
down.
own ambulance is a request. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, take your time.
Hold on.
That one, I believe, would just benefit the state budget. I mean, because they'd be putting their own money back into it. They'd be paying for the repairs. So, if possible, makes a lot of sense to me. Also,
Can I ask
solves
a question
the
with
issue
that?
of the go for it.
So, as you may be aware, about 5 years ago, I did steal back my car as I had paid
yes.
for it and was property
Yes, I remember
as
that.
my cruiser.
Right.
With the I mean, I would say, I'm guessing at this point is not property of them.
Yes, they're
And
all
that goes
currently.
back
to the state.
Actually, that's a good point. I would assume so. We could make it that way. I'm not sure how it's functioned for them in the past, but yes, it wouldn't make sense for them to be driving around ambulances if they could.
The police department has a policy where this actually might be Department of Justice. So Murphy might know about this. Police officers are allowed to drive decommissioned vehicles. And the moment a crime is committed that isn't like a traffic infraction, it's just automatically seized by the state.
Okay.
So there is precedent there to allow for you guys to be like, okay, you're no longer an EMS. Your ambulance belongs to us now. Like that is totally possible.
That definitely makes sense, honestly. I think if they were just informed, hey, it's a risk you take. If you ever lose the position, you'd lose the ambulance. To be honest, I think even driving it around without crime when you are not an EMS might be a little bit absurd. With a police car, at least
Agreed.
it's an actual car. An ambulance is a bit different.
Pretty
so that's fair.
Distinctly an ambulance.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm for that. I will push that forward. What else?
Sounds great. So that was step number 1. The other one was the improved ambulances. I know at the start there was kind of a discussion about it. Currently, their ambulances do not have a lot of seats, and just frankly are not very good. They used to have far better ambulances. I know it was said someone was looking into shipping in better ambulances. I don't know if that's happened, but that would be great because what they have right now is pretty trash. If they could buy the better ones, even keep the shit ones shared, that would be great.
Good idea.
Okay. Then the other two are the big budget items. Is a fire truck and life flight. For those, it is simply, is it possible? And if so, how much do they have to save up?
Okay.
Yep, that is it. I appreciate you writing those down. That's great.
I heard that the police department acquired a piece of equipment today.
Wait, really?
we
What
did.
they get?
Mm,
3 of them.
Wait, huh?
3
What
of
did
them.
3.
No,
Wow.
no,
Wait,
no,
hold
we had
on. What?
from my, as far as I understand, it was a rental.
Okay. No, that actually makes some sense. All right. Because we were told pretty clearly for EMS they had to save up the $8 million to get it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit cheaper.
Okay, fuck yeah. Hey, that's great. I mean,
but as
that
far
sounds
as
like
I
EMS
know-
would be willing to save up too, so that's okay. But yeah, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, hell, I think EMS is. I think them getting life flight would be fantastic. Hopefully, just around the corner, seeing as how we got everyone now.
Yeah,
even if,
that's a
even
good
if it's a
start.
rental, right? Even if we got
Yeah.
a rental.
Of course. I know any progress on that would mean a lot for them. I get quite a lot of questions.
I do have something about the improved ambulances, actually.
Sure. Yeah, what you got?
Hold on just a moment.
Okay.
I guess Mike went ahead and pushed through the 6-seater ambulances.
Okay.
There just needs to be one more thing done on the back end so that they're available, and I think they will be replacing the
perfect.
4-seater ones, unless I'm
That's
mistaken.
great too. That would help. Okay.
All right, great.
That's
In the
perfect.
meantime, myself and Ruby York, we're working with Happy to get them a scout that we have parked inside their.
Yes, I do believe they have that already. That was what they put the 90K towards, I believe, or at least a portion of it.
That's for mountain
that
rescues,
they
right?
Yes, I believe it's a cert that they have, so they do not use it for every call all the time. But it is to get into those trickier to reach spaces.
I will say the Karakara is way better at scaling a mountain than the Scout is.
I thought that at first. Someone in PD explained it would be the scout, so I think they went in and asked about both.
Yeah, I rode.
guess they
I rode
landed
with
on the
both of them,
scout.
and
Yeah.
I rode with both of them, and he chose the scout. So
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Maybe they'll buy another one later down the line.
Yeah. Once again,
Mhm.
I'm super stoked that we are finding solutions that we are able to do without sucking at the teat of the federal government. And that's a good example of it.
Yeah, honestly, I'm happy to help them continue to do that. I know how it works with the state budget, and we'll get it done.
Okay.
it's been a hell of a meeting so far.
Okay.
Speaking of
Yeah.
which, Cletus, you got anything to present?
I had one more actually, if that's okay.
Oh,
My
yeah.
little
Okay.
fun
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
To break the tension on things. This is just kind of, this is a vibe check thing. I didn't put this one in on purpose because I want to see y'all's opinions in person.
Okay.
Let me grab it here.
Who's the lady in black? Alex. She's the head
This
clerk.
is a proposal for a charge similar to a drip act.
Okay.
There it is. This would be a charge, not an act. That is
Oh.
punished only with a fine and not a time.
Oh my god.
So-
I would fucking love you for this one.
Right?
I was going to propose a horny tax, so I am.
Oh.
all
See,
in on
that's what
that.
it is.
Right.
It's a
I-
horny
Hey,
tax.
that's essentially what it is.
Look, I've actually, I was called by 2 different people before this meeting, asking to be able to murder people who do this. Like people be
Oh my god.
people be posting shit on Twitter like, "Oh, my pussy's so wet. Ooh,
Yep.
ooh, my
Yeah,
dick."
all the
my
time.
Horny on
That
me.
You know-
is
you know what I'm
disgusting,
saying?
and
Yeah,
also
it's
it
so
probably
bad.
stank.
Yeah.
I'm for it.
Can we call it the Who Asked Act?
Please.
That's not a bad one either. I quite like my name I came up with though. It's just since it's just a charge, it's just enforced respectful posting. Or ERP.
I'm for it. I found out that I have the ability to potentially ban people from Twitter
Oh, God bless.
Oh,
It can be a 1K fine and the mayor bans you. It's
for like
all
a
good.
month, for like a
That's
week or a
great.
month.
Yeah.
Oh
You would
shit.
have hated me 5 years ago.
Reposting up
Oh,
my
would've
yeah,
been
you
banned.
would have banned Swatter Warrior TJ.
Oh,
Yeah, but
no,
you
that's-
weren't posting fucking weirdly sexual shit on your fucking social
No,
media.
no, it wasn't that.
No, it was just other
It was
stuff.
very political.
Yeah, I hate excessive romantic portrayal.
So
Hell yeah.
So what we do for stuff that Philippa just presented, we will typically sort of vote now, and I'm for it, and then we can go to my left to TJ.
Well, let me look at the different fines real quick. Is that like
Sure.
in line?
That's it.
I just put it at 1K along with like the drip act and stuff, so it's a bit of a slap on the wrist, but it adds up. You know, it adds up.
I think so. This is something that Alan was talking about having to go do. I don't know if he's done it yet. To kind of reassess the penal code. I would say that this fine right here is probably within that vision, for sure.
Mhm.
All right, yeah, because we got arson for literally letting $188 more.
Yeah, somewhere a little bit. But this one's also no jail time, right? So that's the conversation. It's nothing like that. It's purely the fun.
So how do you feel, DJ?
Give me a little bit. Go to the next one. I'm not against
Sure.
it. I just want to think about the anything else to add to it or not.
Solid.
So if we'll go down the line.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Cantor?
Definitely yes.
Latest?
Absolutely.
Braun?
I mean, I am a sucker for free speech. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of two minds about this. Like, I find it fucking obnoxious as the next person. I'm totally in agreement, but I got to think First Amendment, Fourth Estate. Let's say Ursula over there wants to write a news story about some people fucking. Now she's getting $1,000 fine by some cop who's got a problem with Ursula, and now we're having to deal with that. So I'm thinking about that a little bit, how it could be misused. I'm kind of like a no, but keep cooking on this.
It's not a big fine. It's not a felony. It wouldn't disqualify anyone from anything.
Should be a felony.
It's always
fair.
a series of small justifications that leads to the worst possible outcome, though. It's always someone who says, "Oh, it's not a big deal," that creates a slippery slope. So, just
Fair.
just legally, I'm not a fan of suppressing free speech.
Okay.
That's fair. I am in favor of suppressing this kind of speech.
Same. And it says overtly, so it can be argued in court if someone thinks that theirs was reasonable. I suppose.
Yeah.
I am in favor of arguing things in court, though.
Yeah, exactly. I very specifically left it vague enough they can, so judges can have fun looking at horny posts.
If you put in there that say that can be appealed by judges and determine ERP.
I mean, we could
in
write that
there-
if you want.
I think it's applied.
if it is
It's applied.
appropriate.
Okay. Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. So you are a no then, Murphy? As written right now? It's okay if you are. I see your point.
If we're voting on it right now, I'm a no. But
Okay.
I'm not like ultimately against like curbing that somehow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all right. We can always adjust it later as well if we find this in its current form isn't working.
I'm with you in spirit.
Siobhan?
I'm reminded of the great SCOTUS opinion once that if something is funny versus overtly sexual, that the smell test, I'll know it when I see it, right?
Mhm.
Sort of thing. I'm
listen, if that
confident in the
shit's that
judiciary's
wet-
ability to adjudicate,
Mhm.
speech in that regard. So
Same.
yeah.
Okay. So it passes. Can you edit the title, Philippa, to say
Yes.
pass and write down
Absolutely.
who voted yes and who voted no and who abstained and whatnot at the bottom?
Okay. So it's only a no from Murphy, right? Or
Oh fuck, TJ. Wait, what's your final vote?
or he was-
I would put it more as an abstain for right now.
Okay.
I'm not a yes or no. I like it, but I think that there should be some parameters around it outside of just that.
Fair. So we got 2 abstains and Crane and TJ. We got 1 no from Mr. Braun, and then we have yeses for the rest of us.
Perfect.
Okay.
There was one thing. Someone added water in here. I was gonna leave that off so it could apply to the lemon list and things. If they try to get smart with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was me actually. Hang on.
Yeah.
Well, it ain't abstaining a yes?
No.
Isn't that where
No.
abstinence comes from?
No.
Wait. I
What?
think that's the opposite.
mean-
What?
I think they're
I
saying
mean, yeah,
no.
abstinence does come from like abstaining, but it's not. Those are different. There's a
I got
different.
confused. Okay.
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 Cletus, you got anything you want to present?
I have a couple things to talk about.
Sure. Actually, break time.
Yeah, fair.
Okay.
5 minutes.
Break time. 5 minutes.
I know this is going to be a big one. I'm back. I got a hamburger. Hamburger.
So fuck it. Have fun.
You say
Hello.
We'll see. We'll see.
Oh, you think there's water in this water bottle?
that. I wasn't going to say anything. I just was going to assume we were.
Alex, do you have any more food?
Yeah.
Yo, hook a brother up.
There was a time where allegedly Michael Simone went around and gave us all moonshine. You know what? Obviously, allegedly. You know, it helped. It helped.
You drink?
No, I'm good.
Allegedly.
Oh,
Allegedly.
fucking cunt.
They are. I know. You get used to it.
These
but,
chairs are
yeah.
a cunt.
Well, okay. Just sit down.
No, they are.
Oh, don't.
They are. No,
They-
these chairs are a
Yeah.
cunt.
Don't you fucking start with me.
Just sit down.
What are you gonna do?
Sit down.
Sit
Oh,
down.
look, he did it. Look at that.
Half the time it's like super easy. Then the other half it's like, what the fuck?
The other half of the time, I'm about to sit down on the table.
All right, we all aware in here, everyone?
Yes.
Where?
Yes.
Cletus?
Ladies!
You
Uh-huh.
right? No, sorry.
You hungry?
No, I just fell asleep.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
You got it? Time to wake up?
Court. What are we doing?
Not court, Cletus. It's your
Council's back in
turn.
session.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, what do you got, bud?
Okay. So, I have a few things. Mostly some small notes. How do y'all feel about the PD vehicles and PD vehicles and ambulances not being allowed to be towed at all unless they're asked to be done so by police officer or EMS?
So what's historically been happening?
So we've had
Yeah, this has been happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had an issue with these damn tow terrorists going through and basically just at the second your lights are off for literally 40 seconds, you go in, go out, and they start towing your shit. Just making the whole, maybe making it its own charge. You already can't boot them, right? But you can't boot at least a PD vehicle. But making it just completely illegal to tow the vehicle unless an officer asks you to, or an EMS.
And Kyle Pred is a lawyer, and he is going to keep doing this until something
yeah.
happens.
Yeah. He stood there and explained to us why he should be able to tow ambulances out of the loading bay, which it was. He truly does believe his points, so this does need to be legislated.
I mean, I can give you two examples of that. I was there, seeing a ambulance start getting towed out of the loading bay, and then I also, we were at a scene of a cash exchange robbery when we had a news crew show up, and news crew's trying to film, and we're interviewing the hostage, and the news crew's trying to talk to the police, see what happens. When we're cleaning up, right? The pursuit's going on elsewhere, and then we have people attaching, and we had a. I believe it was Declan Crane went and just flipped off the lights for just a second so that, just as a courtesy to the other folks in the area, to not block traffic from them locals and to make sure that the news crew could film with good lighting and whatnot. And then all of a sudden it turned into some shit where a tow truck driver came by and right in front of us started trying to tow the shit. It's like, hold on now. Now, legally, he's within his right to do that because, technically it was parked illegally. And it didn't have its lights on, but it's a common sense sort of thing. So if we just have it in legislation, same goes for ambulances. How do y'all? I mean, that's pretty much it. How do y'all feel about it? Is that something that y'all think would be reasonable to pass?
I kind of, it is an issue. It's become an issue. There are, I guess, extremely fringe circumstances where vehicles should be towed, even though they're government workers. my light concern, just to devil's advocate on things, would be: would this allow people who drive government vehicles to just not give a fuck and do dumb shit? I would hope anyone hired.
If you're
police would do it,
anti-tow, it's
so I
on
am
site.
on board, but just got to bring up the potential there.
I've got some perspective here, and have had some engagement with this. I had a bench trial where basically Kyle Pred had towed a police vehicle from within the motor pool area of PD from this like yellow marked area, and basically like they were never he was never trespassed by the officers who were there, so I didn't find him guilty on it, right? Because they never like gave him like a lawful order of any kind. They were just like, please stop, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe put your big boy pants on and say, hey, get the fuck off of PD property, we're trespassing you, get away from our car, something like that. So in the sense of like making it clear that if the owner of the PD vehicle comes up to you and says, hey, get away from my car, that's a lawful order that has been issued that needs to be fucking acknowledged. I'm good with that, but like there are several circumstances I could think of where there's an abandoned PD vehicle in the street that should otherwise just be dealt with. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's an absence of officers, right?
We have to abstain on this, guys.
whatever gets
For
discussed needs to
series.
account for that, because that should not fall into the wrong hands out of negligence due to anything we put forward.
Thoughts on that side is that you guys do have kind of a method already to defer this from happening, and just keeping the lights on per se, right?
Yeah, but what we were talking about is turning the lights off because we needed to clear traffic as we were doing cleanup for a scene.
Yeah, and then the ambulance example as well, right? Like, do they have their lights on any second they're parked up waiting? That
Yeah, I mean,
it gets a little obnoxious.
I mean, the bottom line is our job is to do what? Is to protect people, right? Keep people safe. And when it gets to the point where if keeping my lights on is going to cause more harm and going to keep less people safe, then yeah, I should flip them off, let traffic clear before I turn them back on. Right? Because now all of a sudden I know there's at least one active pursuit going on because the pursuit has left the robbery. We're doing cleanup of the original scene. And then now if they come back around and there's a bunch of cars piled up, I mean, it's very easy to see a world where this guy comes back into a pursuit. The pursuit comes back around across the scene, crashed into a bunch of cars. You got this big ass pile up. Civilians are hurt. There's a damn fire. Who knows if there's a damn tanker that comes by? I mean, it's just a disaster waiting to happen.
So let me make a quick suggestion with this, and I agree with what you're saying that because a lot of the population we have out here is uncontrollable around lights and sirens at times. They just love to rubberneck, right? And I don't want to like explicitly say no, but if you are in the vicinity of the vehicle, then I think that you should not have it towed, right? So not that you're completely exempt for it, but if you're in the vicinity, they should still, yes, have to confirm with you. If it's abandoned, that's fine, right? But I don't think they should be doing it, at least if you're next to it.
Okay. So at least there's a communication with the police officer.
Correct. Or they should 311, can I tow this?
And then what would be a reasonable amount of time to not get a response? Like 2 minutes?
Well, I have no idea. I mean, that's up to y'all. I don't know what y'all's 311 like response times are.
I mean, I'm pretty aggressive about that shit. I mean, I would say 1 minute personally, but maybe 2 minutes is more reasonable. I don't know. Holy shit!
Oh my
that
god!
light's still there.
Somebody.
Oh, no.
How is he back?
Not it.
It's probably from the. Could it be from the bench trial downstairs?
You know what? That some bitch's voice just finds a way to carry. It probably is.
Maybe.
Why the fuck is Bobby Charles phoning me?
Oh my god.
No, he is outside. I hear.
What the fuck do you want?
Oh.
No, I'm in the fucking council meeting. I'm not bringing up your appeal panel, you bellend. I'm in the middle of a fucking meeting. Sorry about that.
Your Bobby Charles calls have already started.
Oh, they've never stopped.
I'm sorry for you. It'll get worse.
So, let me make a quick note. It's gonna get worse. Okay, thank you.
But yeah, absolutely. Again, just to echo what's already been said, it should be very clear it's a lawful order if a cop says "Get away from my car." Period.
Oh, absolutely.
And if they fail to comply, I think at that point you're doing criminal negligence and intentionally hindering the administration of justice. I would say that you could get them with
I was supposed to do
obstruction
this
if you want to,
ranged, I think.
obstruction. Like there's tools already within a police officer's arsenal to address these issues.
Okay, so I'll get something written up. Maybe we can set a legislation for that. And there's some sort of penalty if they tow it without any sort of communication.
Aren't you killing them in the Corin dungeon? Because this is where they wanted me to go.
We can
Okay,
look at
I'll
that
work on
next
something for the
meeting?
next one. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll work on that next time.
Cool.
Questions I've had from within the PD. People have asked a lot about weapons licenses, guns, any sort of registering of DNA when getting a weapons license. Is that do y'all think that would be reasonable?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
Simple.
No.
Okay. Good. I'm all good on that. I just thought just doing right by my people.
Well, that's
And
fair.
let
I
them
know.
I asked the question.
I know Dakota brought a similar thing to me and wanted government employees to have DNA on file. I understand from the PD side, it makes things significantly easier. So I do sympathize with that. But I have heard many a concern of government employees not wanting that.
Okay. I for the record, I do agree. Just doing right by my folks.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Other questions were any sort of like voluntary gun registry when getting a weapons license. Would that be deemed acceptable in y'all's eyes if the PD had at least a voluntary gun registry where folks could officially come voluntarily register their guns whenever they get their weapons license?
I think if we maybe entertain a discount on that weapon license, if they're doing that.
That wouldn't be terrible.
Good idea.
Yeah,
that is
a
an
great
option,
idea.
right?
Pretty
Yeah,
decent.
what's up, Alex?
So Slacks is supposed to do this whole weapons license training class where that was supposed to happen.
I remember hearing something about that 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, there's been no word on whether he's even like made a move to start that or not.
Okay.
Like
Well,
firearms instruction course, right?
So that actually leads to my next point. How do y'all feel about requiring a firearms training with a police officer that has to sign off on it?
Well, the idea of it was supposed to be that they would get a discount if they went through that firearms training course. That
I
was
like a
supposed to be the
discount
whole
if you
appeal of
get it. Yeah,
And
that's
it's already
not
been
bad.
approved too.
But if we have a discount here, well, the problem for the PD now is if there's a discount on the weapons license, then we have to take an officer to do firearms training, and we have to pull him off patrol, and we have to have him doing paperwork and stuff. Not just paperwork, but actually doing training of a civilian. And our patrol, just full transparency, can be kind of weak at times. And I know it's not many people a day getting weapons licenses, but I think there needs to be something for the PD as well, as far as having like a firearms training. I think that the PD should be getting paid as part of their budget or something. If there's like, I think there needs to be something there.
Also, additionally, the officer who was going to be doing that training was supposed to get the other part of that cut. So that discount, they would be getting that discount essentially.
Sorry, can you repeat that one more time? My hearing aids were.
So a regular weapons license is $25,000. It would be reduced down to $20,000 if they took the class, but the person who would be training that or them on that would be getting that $5,000 that from the top.
Okay, so then where does the discount come in for the?
So when they are charged for the weapons license, they would be paying $20,000, and then the officer who would train them would receive $5,000
From who?
verification. The state.
Okay. So would that be something that goes to TJ?
What's up?
How would we get the 5,000 per firearms training?
As in
So-
you administering it?
Yeah,
Sorry.
let's say I administer firearms training. They are charged $20,000, and then they get discounted 5,000, and then an additional 5,000 is then given to the
So
officer.
that 5,000 that wasn't charged to them is given to the officer upon verification. There's supposed to be a contract involved that would prove that that officer did that, and if it was
You
on
just
the
click in
list
this
of
game?
approved officers
Yeah,
from
for the most
Slacks,
part.
it would be okay for them to get that money from. Imagine it would be like somebody like Crane paying them out, or I guess TJ.
Yeah, so I have no problem doing that on like a weekly basis. If that's what the council decides that they want to do for all that, I have no problem being able to do that. All you had to do is just slowly send me a y'all got a document, spreadsheet, something, whatever it is. Sorry, I'm a spreadsheet guy, so just keeping it organized. And
Bobby Charles, if you call one more member of this council, I'm going to
Yeah.
tell the mayor to disband DOC forever. Okay, leave us alone.
Oh, good
Yeah.
one. That's
The only
one.
problem with that is Slacks has made like zero effort to actually like put together something.
well, Farnwood, do you have anyone else that could possibly run that?
Here's what I suggest.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
There
Play
you
this. Yeah.
go. That's simple as that.
Okay. Slacks, for the record, Slacks has spoken with me about it. Like he said, he's had this idea for a while, so it's not like he just kept it to himself. But it's a continuation of his original idea that I was expanding upon. But I can handle it.
I think it could do to be simplified a little bit in order to be more effective, but overall, I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, it's like a luxury discount thing, so it can be a little complicated.
So these guys never unaggro
Okay.
for me?
So I'll write up a proper legislation for that. And we can work on that for. I mean, is that the appropriate way to do this?
Yeah, the
Should-
VOD will
should
be up
we
after stream
have
goes.
something written up for our next meeting for this, or should we just
Yes.
start working on this right away? Okay. Next thing, and there's a lot of stuff I don't have anything written up beforehand because it's my first meeting here. I want to make sure just ask first and get stuff figured out. Next bullet point. I want to work on a legislation. Excuse me.
Oh god, I thought he
called
was gonna
the-
say registration.
Oh, no.
Got concerned. More moms.
Regulated protection checks. Okay. Now this regulated protection check would make it illegal to ride a motorcycle without a helmet. We've had a lot of people
We've
having.
actually brought that up here before. It
Oh,
got
really?
shut
Okay.
down, but this is a new administration, so maybe.
Wait,
Yeah, I mean,
they
I
are on
think
aggro.
it's been incredibly dangerous. Seeing folks flying around 170 miles an hour. They don't got helmets on. Some guys got
Sure.
a damn cloth mask on. We know masks don't do shit in the first place. Why you wearing it, right? There's some officers that came up with the idea. Hey, if you're
They
riding a
can't see
motorcycle,
you?
shouldn't you be wearing a helmet in the first
No,
place? Look.
This guy was already in the thing.
So-
He was already aggroed on me at one
Yeah.
point.
There's that as well. Do y'all feel? How do y'all feel about that?
I'll be honest. What's the benefits of making it illegal to have a no helmet on a bike? Like, what is the goal of this
Benefit
legislation?
To
Well, I mean, it's for their health,
show
right?
us-
Right.
It's for their health and
let's
also,
be honest. You come flying
that
off a
money goes
bike,
to the
and
state
I say
account.
this as someone who has a bike
Sure.
and regularly wear a helmet. In fact, I never ride it without a helmet. You fly off that bike, I'm going to hospital.
Oh,
either
what the
fucking way.
fuck?
But what is legislation's actual purpose? Is it to generate additional income, or is it to mandate safety?
A bit of both. It still could help, right? You might get fucked up coming off that bike either way, but protecting
Some wild
your head is
poos. Thanks
important.
for subbing, dude. Thanks
Yeah,
for
I
the
mean,
mid
look,
tags.
Ultimately, like, I mean, that would come down to personal. If someone chooses not to wear a helmet, they're going to get fucked up. That's on them.
Only the
I mean-
Fonz looks cool on a motorcycle without a helmet on. And
Yeah, I
he
mean,
still
that-
wears a motorcycle helmet half the time.
I agree. It's a safety concern. Do I think it needs legislation? No.
Yeah, I mean, the main points being the safety in general, having if we can reduce some of the
Okay, you
foot
hooked on
traffic in the
RuneScape?
hospital, given the
Rehooked? Nice.
maybe lighter numbers at times, right?
But my point being, you won't. Mandating helmets won't reduce injuries from motorcycle incidents.
Okay.
Again, own a bike, wear a helmet every time. and I'm in hospital a lot.
Okay. The next point, I think this is a Chief Justice Crane thing. I got 2 more points that are probably Chief Justice Crane things, but the attempted murder of a government employee.
Hold on.
Hey, Cletus.
One method, or not method, protocol is, we like to discuss stuff here, and if you still feel strongly about something, even if your discussion has been negative or you've received pushback, like in the form of Solomon, which is totally valid, you can still put something to a vote if you feel like that it should be done.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to hear everybody on the motorcycle helmets, because, like, honestly, I don't see a problem with it. I think it's one of those things, one of those small things that could really be a boon when there's not a lot of enforcement opportunities. See someone on a
Mr.
motorcycle
Stronghog,
without
they
a
still-
helmet, get a chance to pull them over, see what they're up to. Give them a little citation, maybe even just give them a warning. But I don't see the harm or even how it could possibly be misused overwhelmingly.
I will say that my wife and I, we voted for the Drip Act. We voted for, there's one other uniform-esque one or whatever.
Vehicle mandate.
Yeah, and it would be in line for us to vote on something like this as well. So we would vote yes on this.
I always wear a helmet.
My helmet saves my life.
I'm too scared to ride a bike.
What about
That's
you?
because you see us when we come in from falling off of
That's true. I
ours.
do see them injured, so I can at least vouch for that. I see many injuries.
What do you
because of
what do you
these
think,
damn
TJ?
things.
So
I was gonna say no.
Two thoughts with this.
Yeah.
As someone that has been subject in the past to what used to be the mask mandate, and how that can be a thing. The option to wear a helmet, I'm indifferent with it. Now, I do think if even at low speeds, if that has a possibility of saving someone, then that's better for sure.
I believe it does in that front. Yeah.
On the other side, yeah, it will probably kill you if you're going, at 80, 90 miles an hour. That's not a problem. I do think it is an opportunity for PD to have a conversation with someone about it. Do I think it should automatically go to a fine? Probably not, but I'm not opposed to it. I think it should just be like a reminder, wear a bike, kids, or wear a helmet, kids, that type of shit. Sorry, I'm on like 4 hours of sleep.
It's all good.
Thank
Thank you both for being
Don't
here. By
worry.
the way, I know this is a
Yeah.
hard time.
Yeah,
Relax, it's so good. It's important. So
yeah. So
What about with scooters though?
oh, fuck
I mean,
those
it's
guys.
still technically a bike.
I think it would still, I think it's still counted if we were to do
Two-wheelers.
this. Yeah. You're still open to the risk of potentially being hit by another vehicle, for example, even if you're not going too fast.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I was thinking maybe motorized two-wheeled vehicles. I mean, like a bicycle. And you could argue. I mean, I wouldn't care either way. But if y'all want to add bicycles to that,
No.
I think bicycle might be a bit overkill. Yeah.
okay.
I can see that.
Cleus,
So to be fair, a bike is still considered an automotive.
So
Can you make a council document outlining like what this would look like in the penal code and stuff? Like, can you write up a brief description, sort of like what Cantor did with the that was you, right? The fucking
Which one?
the ERP one? Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
Similar to that. And kind of like write how you think it should read. I mean, ultimately, that's an important thing to actually mention. The Chief Justice holds sole purview over the penal code and allows the Council of Eight, depending on his mood. Well, actually, he's been pretty reasonable about hearing us make.
Yeah, he's been really nice.
Making changes to the penal code. Ultimately, it's his final review. So what we do is we make suggestions, and then he will let us vote on it, and blah blah blah. Moving forward, and I don't want to say this to discourage anybody. One mistake I think that we made in the first council is that we focused a lot on trying to make adjustments to the penal code, as opposed to innovating, I suppose. That said, Cletus, you're a cop, so I even in Dakota's case, I will give him a pass for suggesting changes to the penal code, because you deal so heavily with the penal code that this is something relevant to the police department, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. This is just a general reminder that moving forward, the penal code can be a low-hanging fruit. Let's try to aim for the higher ones. That said, I super want to vote yes on this, and if you can get something written up, then we can do a vote right now.
Okay. I got it in there right now. The rider protection check. It is illegal to ride a motorcycle, ATV, or other cabinless vehicle without a helmet. The helmet does not have to be worn if the motorcycle or if the vehicle is not in motion.
Okay.
Oh, I love that actually.
What do you think for a fine?
I don't think it needs to be a big fine.
250?
Maybe, yeah, 250. 250 is good.
Is there a
200?
way we can require that the rider be issued a warning prior to be giving a citation? Is that even possible with our tag system and all that? Like in terms of, because I know I've been given a warning and it's shown up in my MDT is why I'm at.
They do that for traffic stops.
We do have traffic warnings. There's a tag for traffic warnings. If we add a rider protection check tag, we could do that.
I added in, this does not include bicycles into the thingy, just so.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point.
Okay, so $200 fine.
Yeah, I think $200 fine. Maybe no jail time, 1 point on your record.
I don't know if we should do
I don't know about points.
It's not even.
You don't want to
like
do
maybe
points?
not
Okay.
vehicle points, maybe head point.
Okay.
he means license points.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
I was
I'm
talking
making a joke.
about-
It's like
Oh.
maybe not points on your
Oh,
license,
oh.
but points on your fucking dome piece protection. I don't know.
Yeah.
When this is brought forth, Cleese can definitely put forward that, issuing a warning first. Like this is like literally this.
That's like a discretion thing.
Yeah, it's discretion, and this is also traffic law stuff essentially, which a lot of officer discretion is already exercised there, usually for the good of the person that they're pulling over. Like they'll warn them for speeding, so on and so forth. And just as long as Cleese is able to demonstrate, hey, this is just another addition to traffic law, then I think pretty sure that police will get the memo and issue a warning for this.
I suspect Crane will know exactly what time it is too, and he'll be good with it.
So I'm going to change one more thing here. It
Okay.
is illegal to. Now, how do y'all want to approach this? It is illegal to ride or operate a motorcycle, or it is illegal to operate or have a passenger in a motorcycle. Is the driver going to be getting
Oh my
fined for both of
God.
them?
Nah.
Okay,
Good
so case by
question,
case?
Cornwood. That's a great question.
The responsibility is on the person that chose not to wear a helmet, so you would be issuing the fine to the person that doesn't have the helmet on, right?
Okay. So it is illegal to operate or ride a motorcycle, ATV, or other cabinless vehicle without a helmet.
Sounds good.
Here's the thing, Cornwood, is you cannot, at least currently, you cannot, as the owner of the motorcycle, make sure or ensure, right, that like you have an extra helmet for.
Can I want a burger too now?
No, good
Base?
point. Good point. Yeah, I like that. Okay. I put motorized cabinless vehicle. Just to
Perfect.
Okay.
yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. No. On a bicycle, you are the motor. Did the server go down? Guess that ends the meeting. We'll ever be done with GTA roleplay? Yep. Yep. How long did we play last time? Like 6 months or some shit? I don't know if I'm gonna go that long on stream, but we'll see. I'll be right back. 1 sec while the server comes back up. BRB on screen. Yellow. Requesting authentication ticket. Downloading content manifest. Hoggers. Still doing PCP2 today? I don't know. Get VOD now? I gotta upload it after stream does. Monkey type? I don't think I can type very fast on this keyboard. You're on PCP? Nice. Meow, 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 meow. Except new PC? No. I'll do it this Sunday for sure, I think. As mayor, can you pardon prison lifers? I don't think so. Think about it this way, okay? Lifer queue equals you don't have priority, but you're logging into the server, right? Do people who are... You don't have whitelist. So basically, what you're proposing is that I pardon them so that they don't have to be a lifer anymore and can play on the server normally. Which would mean that they get whitelist. I would say no. Like, the alternative would, like, the thing that I could probably do is pardon them, sure, if it manages to go through. And then they're no longer able to join Lifer Queue, and then they also don't have whitelist. So they wouldn't be able to connect to the server. Hello. Meow, 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 meow. Reg Victix for 100 bits. Get a full set of Guthix plate, and then the runner went by shouting, Guthix is dead. What runner? Thanks for...
Oh, never mind. You're busy.
Yeah, what's up, though?
We're gonna be at... Are you gonna let me shadow you one day that you said I could do?
Yeah. It's not... Look, I think you are, I think you can do it.
I think so. I'm getting my expungement today. I'm planning to run next election.
Sick. Get out there and start campaigning, bro.
All right, I will.
Hello, Viking Bouse. How much money has Lenny made selling weed? I bought 500 at first, right?
You know, that's a great question. Oh, Max, great timing.
I don't know.
What's up?
What'd you say,
I passed out, guys.
That's how much we get paid.
No,
We all did.
I think we all.
Oh.
There must be carbon monoxide in this room.
Oh.
All you fuckers smoking.
There's carbon monoxide in this
smoking.
whole ass building. I swear.
That's actually true. Burnwood was just asking how much we get. City Council gets paid.
What's the value on that again?
It's not enough. It's like 1,000 an hour before tax.
Are you guys proposing a pay raise for us?
That was a Cornwood question.
I was asking
Speak up,
that. I was
Cornwood.
asking about.
I
Sorry,
think
I was
Cornwood was just asking because he's new to the squad.
yeah, I was just asking for knowledge because I mean, I signed into city council now. I was wondering if I should be signing as city council or police officer. But it's,
Oh,
it's
'cause you
kind of
make
a-
more
I
as a
think it's kind of
cop.
up to you.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd thing, right? To have to.
He means in terms of
Taking
how
a
much
pay cut?
money he's making right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't really give a damn. It's only a couple hours, right? I just want to be able to open the damn door and be able to do my police actions if I need to.
Yeah.
That's all I really care about.
Osvaldo immediately came up and told me he was running for mayor, by the way. I heard your
Hey.
conversation. He's doing great.
Yeah, he told me too.
Yeah. He's definitely campaigning. Fuck it. I told him he could come talk to the doctors if he wanted.
Yeah. I think he knows a lot of people on the street.
Oh, he does. Absolutely. He's quite popular. Oh, yeah.
I think he definitely has what
Narrowly.
it takes.
Who?
Well, hell yeah. Okay.
Osvaldo.
Osvaldo.
He almost
yeah.
beat
Yeah,
Lang
so
a long time ago.
He actually
Wow.
did. It was very impressive. Oh, he said he's getting
Yeah.
it now.
Nice.
He was
He's
a
been like
close second.
fundraising for that, throwing some really good events.
Where were we before everyone passed out due to carbon monoxide poisoning?
Cornwood's list
Oh.
of PD stuff.
Yeah, rider protection check. We did a
Mm-hmm.
vote for that. Did we actually? No, did we do a vote?
We didn't do a vote.
Nope.
No, we
No,
didn't.
we were starting to vote. I added one more thing. I said this doesn't apply to water vehicles, so you don't have to wear a helmet on a jet ski.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And I
Um,
think that covers all our bases.
okay, so would you like to put it up for a vote?
Yep, let's do it. Let's vote on it.
What do you vote?
I vote yes that that this does pass.
Mr. Braun?
Yay.
Miss Siobhan?
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah.
Mr.
Nope.
Solomon? Okay.
Nope.
Miss Cantor?
Yeah. Yeah, fine with me.
Okay. Cleus, can you note down who voted what in the thing that you just wrote up at the bottom?
Okay, so everybody but Solomon was a yes.
Yeah, and
Correct.
and the Chief Justice is abstained
is,
because he's not here.
That-
Oh, yeah. Let me put that in mind.
And as previously stated, he would have final purview over that. He's basically got veto power over this.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a good way to put it, actually. I don't think
That's
I,
fair.
I would see him necessarily vetoing this.
I don't foresee that. This is what I refer to as a real
Veto? The
policing
Italian?
type charge. So
Okay.
Benifulmard?
No. pay
Benny
attention to those
Be-
first two.
Benifulmard.
Right,
first
right.
Thank you,
letters.
Sullivan. Nice name. Shaky Bake, thanks, Sullivan. Do you have anything else you'd like
Okay.
to present?
These two I think are absolutely Chief Justice Crane things. One of them was about one of them was about the attempted murder of a government employee charge. Folks were asking for it to be higher, and then also criminal use of a firearm was not a felony, and it was causing some sort of confusion. So I'm going to save that for whenever Chief Justice
This is
Crane
my
is
cake,
here.
raw shit, exhibit.
And then beyond that, I think it's pretty much on. Well, this one really has more to do with y'all, Mayor Thoroughbred.
Okay.
The police continuity plan.
Okay.
So I mean I think that's more in your court.
I will comment on the police continuity plan. So my intention moving forward is to open up the sheriff's office, utilizing the PCP, and to establish the sheriff's office as it being its own chain of command, which creates some issues. Because the commissioner has not been selected yet. The commissioner has not been selected and cannot be selected because the PCP is not currently active. 1. 2, there isn't a cop capable of doing the commissioner role right now. At least in a way that I personally would find satisfactory. And that's just based on all of my many interactions with the various cops, witnessing how they've interacted with the DOJ, witnessing how they've reacted to stuff on the street, so on and so forth. As a result, having two different chains of command has the potential for huge strife. And so what I wanted to, well, first of all, I don't think I can present PCP without Alan here because I need his insight on a couple of things. One of them primarily being, until a commissioner is selected, if there ever was an unresolvable dispute between the sheriff of the sheriff's office and the chief of police, that the mayor would act as a mediator to like sort out the issue between these two chains of command, and to allow for a final decision to be made so that it doesn't. At the end of the day, the children yearn for the sheriff's office. At the end of the day, based on what I've seen and what I've heard, and what I've exercised myself, is that the only motivator for activity for any government job is morale. That's it. Morale manifests in different ways. The primary way that it could manifest right now is by way of the sheriff's office being opened. There are cops who identify as deputies and not officers. There are police officers who they are very keen on being able to wear a different uniform, and ultimately, that is what it would be, because the sheriff's office would be operating in the city as well. Our current police department does not have the numbers or units to be able to justify, for example, the sheriff's office operating on a different base channel, like radio channel, or not ever entering the city to help respond to calls, so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, the existence of a sheriff's office serves two purposes. One, it gives them that uniform and hat that they so crave. Two, it will allow for, I don't know how to put this delicately. Allow me a moment to find the words for this one.
Just say it flat out.
Go ahead.
There exists different styles and schools of thought when it comes to police work. It stands to reason that whoever would be elected sheriff, it would be a public election. That was even something that the three captains of the LSPD were looking to have happen, and something that we've pretty much agreed would be the case should the sheriff's office be declared open, courtesy of the PCP being continued. There are different schools and styles of police work. It stands to reason that if someone is elected sheriff, that they might be able to offer a different perspective on how that police work should be carried out. And it's this different perspective that might help solve the current issue that the LSPD is currently facing. And that is, they are not effective. Not by any means. And that is due to a number of reasons. One, numbers. Two, the motivation to get out there and do something other than sitting around Legion Square and handing out speeding tickets. And at the end of the day, this is probably something that should have happened a while ago, and I got hung up because I was trying to solve the chain of command issue. The first suggestion that I made was that the sheriff would be equal in power to the assistant chief, so that the current chief of police would be allowed to make final decisions. That ended up being kind of cumbersome. The next solution was to appoint a commissioner. In my searching and witnessing, there is not anyone qualified for that position, in my opinion. I could be wrong. So the principle that I and my wife and a lot of people, even Cantor, that we like to exercise, the first hurdle that we as the Council of Eight, the first term had to overcome was this. We couldn't get hung up on what ifs. We couldn't get hung up on, oh, what if the sheriff and the chief of police refuse to work together? Getting hung up on what ifs and hypotheticals is antithetical to actual effective forward-moving change. And as a result of that, I decided last night, after speaking with Cletus and hearing his thoughts again for the 10th time on the sheriff's office, that
11.
Establishing the sheriff's office, which would be the primary purpose of reenacting PCP, would serve the simple purpose of raising morale. And raising morale is and should be the primary concern of pretty much any government worker head, like division head, right? I know that this is potentially a, what's the word? I'm literally struggling to find the word. This is a contentious example. When I lowered doctor and EMS pay, and this wasn't anything that I had foreseen, because before this I had believed that raising pay equaled higher activity, and Cantor did say for the record that this did not necessarily increase activity hours. But what I saw what I saw when I went to the hospital is, I saw like 5 or 6 or 7 doctors like all talking to each other and hanging out and becoming reacquainted, and like it had the unintended effect of creating a even if somewhat briefly stronger community. And I think that opening the sheriff's office could do something like that for the police department currently. Sorry, I'm rambling.
Solidarity, is that the word you're looking for?
Yes.
I don't disagree to the morale thing. I think pay is one factor of that, maybe, but I agree that is kind of the thing that keeps people around. You got that right.
So I just wanted to get this out of the way now, because I don't think we can vote on this without Alan here. I will say that he has shown interest in the last meeting in continuing the PCP if I were reelected. That said, he has to be here for that to be voted on, which sucks, because it was my intention to immediately afterwards push for the sheriff elections. I can speak with Alan. Unfortunately, I think we have to wait until next week. Unfortunately, Alan was sick.
I do have one question real quick. That's okay.
Yeah.
I actually like the sheriff's office. I've talked with Gordon about it. So that part, no concerns to bring out. However, in taking a look at this, you're all about not preventing issues before they've occurred. So what the hell did Michael do so wrong to take the deputy mayor out of the PCP?
Oh, we took that out because the idea of the PCP is to afford the mayor, as it basically greenlights me to directly contact the state about issues that might be prevalent, because the way that was exercised before is issues that are prevalent in these government branches do not get brought up if they benefit certain people. Alternatively, they are never brought up until it is a super issue that requires a nuclear action from the federal government to come down and be like, okay, why the fuck have you guys been doing this way for this fucking long? Essentially, it is a way for me to light the signal fire and be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Michael never had to do that. The inclusion of the deputy mayor in that initial act served no purpose in practice and would only bog the process down moving forward, because let me tell you right now, getting a hold of these motherfuckers is already hard enough for one person. Having 2 people trying to get in contact with them for the same purpose is ultimately overkill and does not serve any true purpose, in my opinion.
Wouldn't it make more sense that when you aren't around, let's be honest, me and you do seem to keep very different schedules, that if the deputy mayor was also on the PCP, they can act on your behalf, which is one of the duties of the deputy mayor, and thus feed to you the goings on and enact for you to the PD when you are not around. Thus, it's not both of us trying to go up the same chain, but rather me operating on your behalf and then feeding up to you, so then you as a singular can then go up the chain.
The problem is, what if we disagree?
So, I mean, if I may, as law enforcement liaison, the PCP originally was only intended to be around for the first term of the mayoral.
The sunset clause.
Yeah, so there was a sunset clause in there at the end of the first term, and really there was no intention originally of extending it. What's happened so far in the last 5 months, the city being open back up, the government opening back up, I think it has had a lot of movement, ups, downs, lefts, rights, you name it, and there's a lot of different experiences that come with that. And I really don't, and this is coming from the perspective of someone who's been there for the whole thing. It's a lot to put on somebody's shoulders. It's a lot of responsibility to give to any one person who hasn't been there for that entire time. So I think just being 100% honest, to have anybody other than Mayor Thoroughbred involved in a continuation of the PCP, or anybody else who hasn't been there from the very beginning, through and through, I don't think it makes sense to have them on it.
I will say that the original vision of the deputy mayor, in regards to the actual mayor, and this kind of got fucked up the first time around because Michael and I ended up aligning on a lot of things. You and I, Solomon, do not align on much. I mean, are
you sure about that? We've not had a conversation yet.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I'm going solely based off of your campaign posters, which proposed the dissolution of Dogtown, which is something that I pushed for, PD reform, which implied that the PCP had failed. There were a lot of things that I personally, I did not think that we would agree on that, which is a good thing.
I'm going to ask you a quick question. Do you think no more police reform is done, and that we are now at a point where the PD is in a stable state and there's no more oversight or direction from the mayor's office?
It totally does.
We agree. We both agree that PD reform is ongoing.
No, I'm not trying to say that it's a bad thing that we. I'm trying to show you what my initial impressions were. The point is, the way that mayoral election was supposed to work is that the majority of voters would have a voice in the form of the mayor, and then the other group of people that end up voting for second place would be representing those people. Okay, so that together, even if our opinions differed from each other, we would be representing the majority simply by presenting different viewpoints and whatnot. And that is important because the deputy mayor, in regards to the original vision that Alan Crane and Lila Wright had when they conceived of the Council of Eight, is that we would be opposing parties. And that functionally, us working together on this might not be possible, and has the potential to be bogged down by games of telephone, and it has the potential to slow down the process, so to speak. I have a direct line right now to the federal government. I'm not saying that you couldn't have a direct line to the federal government. I know what needs to be done. Michael didn't do anything. In fact, I don't know why deputy. It's not that he didn't want to do anything. It was that I had to say, hey, and he wasn't super aggro about it, but occasionally a suggestion would come across the table where he was like, we should do this about the hair color stuff that was going on in the PD for a little bit. I was like, listen, that's not necessarily our purview. We are here to, like I said, light the signal fire. So that's why Deputy Mayor was removed from that, because...
Okay, so I don't mean to cut you off, but if the last Deputy Mayor was inactive and didn't do much with it, I don't think you should be judging any following or subsequent Deputy Mayors based on the actions or inactions of the previous one.
I just want to address something you said, Solomon, real quick. The position that carries out the mayor's goals on a day-to-day basis, acting as an evangelist for their principals when they're not around, is the chief of staff.
I didn't say that.
That was just something you're saying about representing him when he's not around. That's me.
And you also are around when he
but
is,
you're
and not when
also
I am.
not in that. And yeah.
So
both points are very valid.
What I've experienced is that there isn't really an issue that would require you to address, or even an issue that, like, the only pressing issue I think I ever addressed, courtesy of the PCP, was making sure that the Captain Ruth. Well, oh my God, Cornwood could explain this perfectly if he wanted to. The only thing that I did, and it was technically out of the scope of the PCP. Technically, I overstepped in overruling Cornwood's firing because there had been a Cornwood. You can explain it perfectly.
Well, I'm gonna explain it in as few words as I possibly can. There was there was definitely some targeting that occurred due to my style of policing being perceived to be a certain way. However, I think we can all agree and we can all see from the outside perspective, and what really matters is how the people in the city, how they perceive how I'm doing my work. Right, bottom line, and eventually it led to me receiving a suspension. It led to me receiving a indefinite suspension upon review. Over the course of that suspension, it was learned to actually, and even after the fact, there was some shady shit going on involving my suspension that should not have led to me getting suspended. And then finally,
saying what happened is important for why I stepped in. So what was the shady shit?
There was times where I received disciplinary action for things that were either didn't actually happen, things that things that were misconstrued, or stories were left out, like reports were left unchanged when they should have been changed, which actually led to me receiving that final DAP, which then led to me being suspended in the first place, right before my other DAPs were going to fall off. It's the whole thing, right? DAPs that were not a part of the SOPs. But then the final straw, I guess, whenever Mayor Thoroughbred stepped in, was whenever there was a review panel amongst the senior officers. What at the time was seen as command. And there was not a single officer in that meeting, other than Captain Slacks, who voted for me to not be fired. There was not a single other officer who was a part of my shift that I interact with the most. There were two other seniors brought in who had very little to do with it.
Who were promoted by?
One of which was promoted by Captain Ruth. The other one was promoted, I believe, by Captain Turner, and Alice Watson voted to keep me. In fact, I spoke with Alex Watson afterwards, and supposedly Alice Watson gave him a mouthful and said, "What the hell are y'all doing here?" That's why Alice Watson's a sergeant now, is because she knows what the hell she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically there was a situation where, it was pretty obviously stacked against me to get fired, and then that's whenever Mayor Thoroughbred stepped in, and he flipped Captain Ruth's vote to be that of whatever Captain Slack's vote would be, which led it to be a majority vote in terms of me staying. So that's as few words as I can do.
Was it a few? Okay, wow.
Yeah, I know. That's a lot.
That was the opposite of a few. Anyway, I think, as the mayor mentioned before, this is something to be tabled for when Chief Justice Crane is around.
Right.
I will make the same points to him when he's in the room as I'm making now, but I think we're going to all waste a lot of valuable time if we go around the room discussing it when we've already decided he needs to be here to discuss it. Anyway.
Sure. My hope was that we would be able to kind of get on the same page before it actually goes to table next time, so that it doesn't take as long as it, because the first time we brought this up, it took like 2.5 hours to get through. Yeah, TJ, what's up?
So by old technicality, yeah, it's sunsetted out and it's not active at this point. So something just to think about before the next meeting and have those discussions is, obviously when you're not mayor, and when that goes away, by technicality, is the chief of police actually not even a thing at this point?
No, it is a thing.
Well, because
I meant yes. The chief of police does not answer.
Yes, commissioner, no. Yeah.
So, just as a forward-thinking side to it, when this goes away, the power to be reinstated or power to be stated back to whoever it needs to be entered into that legislation there.
Okay. If you have any suggestions, you can just write, make up a new document, and then close any holes. I'm certainly open to that.
Yeah.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
What is the concern with instead of it saying deputy mayor and mayor, it's saying just the mayor? Like, what is the baseline concern with only the mayor being on there?
As I mentioned, the mayor cannot be around for 24 hours a day. That is physically impossible. And me and him occupy wildly different schedules. I would also argue that in a matter like the PD, and I think me and the mayor would probably agree on a lot more reference to PD than either of us thought we would when we first walked into a room together. But it is my belief that I think sole oversight over the PD, given it is a 24-hour department, is not the best course of action for the department. And I would also argue that, you know, I've got no intention of kicking things up, crossing over communication paths, which the mayor mentioned was an issue before. And in fact, working as closely with you, Mr. Mayor, as humanly possible on this. And I think if you were to give me an opportunity on this, I think you would be surprised at just how well we would work together.
Also, Shift 1, according to y'all, seems to need the help, so might as well get
I
someone
would
who
also
can watch
state
it.
that is very true.
Shift 1 needs a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, that
Sure
one
does.
that one might be harder to get.
But that's the thing, though. We aren't supposed to be like an active presence, and the whole reason I brought the Cornwood situation was to highlight that should have been cause for reprimand for me. That we're just trying to
facilitate movement,
right. Which is why I don't think 24-hour coverage needs or is necessary. I don't think there's ever going to be an issue that would require 24-hour watching, and that anything that did happen would be able to be addressed by one person alone, which I can confirm because I was the one person alone for the last 3 months. That's my point. Like Solomon said, we are going to keep going in circles on this probably. So we can move on and table this until
I think we covered everything.
Next week. Cletus, did you have anything else?
Nope. Next week.
Mr. Braun.
Okay.
All right. I got a couple of things. The lawyers have brought me quite a few bits of feedback here and there. The main one, which, Mr. Mayor, I don't think this is actionable on your end, but I do want to air it out, is apparently you can like kind of make adjustments to the penal code, and maybe Cornwood can speak to this too. Lawyers and cops are having trouble syncing up on the times and fines in the MDT right now. Ooh. So again, you might not be able to do something about this, but I just want to air it out and see what people have to say.
I can do a temporary fix. And what that would be is that the state will have to pay more money to. Okay, so let me explain how this works. The mayor,
please.
The mayor's office has the ability to adjust times and fines, and it's supposed to be reflected in real time in the MDT. What's happening is that the MDT is originally and initially showing the correct time and fine when you first add the charges to a person's MDT profile, when you're in like the incident report and you're processing them. What happens at some point, I forget what triggers it, it defaults back to the original values before they were adjusted. And that's what's getting fucked up. So what I could do is I can go and what will happen is the fines will be lower and the time will be higher, which will then make it so that the MDT will no longer be switching between these two values. And that is the fix that I can do. So it is actionable.
Wait.
Okay. Because what I'm hearing is that both police and lawyers are having trouble with this, and it's making cell reps like really difficult and stuff. So there's a workaround. That's awesome.
There is a workaround right now. And what that is as soon as the cop adds the charges, they take a picture of the value and the fine value and the time value. And that number is technically the correct number. But I'm going to go fix that right now.
Wait, hold on. What's the correct in the charges or in the whenever you go back and forth is the correct one?
The values are changing after you've been in the MDT for a certain amount of time, and I'm pretty sure they're changing in both the incident report and the actual charges. So both numbers can be right and wrong depending on what state of the MDT you're in.
I can speak to this because I spoke to the IT guy last night after a situation with the lawyer.
No.
So I was told the charges are likely changing because of something that's happening with your newfound powers over the last month.
Right.
Mayor Thoroughbred. So
that's
because
what I
that
just
is
said.
changing, it is affecting the numbers whenever you place them into the incident. However, whenever you leave, save it like 10 times and then save the report like 10 times just to make sure it's all saved. Save charges, then report saved, then you back out into the incident and then you go back.
He is
incident
describing
itself. So back to the
what
incidents
causes
tab,
it to happen.
back to the incident itself, and then you have the proper time and fine.
No, the proper time and fine is the one that's supposed to be added initially.
And the proper time and fine is the one that should be added initially. However, it's adding a number that is a higher fine and a time that is lower than what it should be.
Yeah, because that's what I set it to.
All right.
Oh, so you did change it.
Yeah, it's been changed for months.
Okay, well, the IT guy told me otherwise. So
yeah, he didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
so,
go set it to default values for now until that we can get confirmation that it's fixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the
and in
record, I
meantime-
think that the less time, more fines is much better.
Agree.
Because
In the meantime,
agree.
Cornwood, if the workaround isn't like that successful, or if we can't fix it, as long
So I actually had to raise fines and lower time because it costs money to send people. It costs the state budget money to send people to jail. I don't know when it happens or how it happens, but it fucking happens. So I lowered it because I wanted to cut costs. And I had to raise fines because they were barely arresting people. So it is your fault? Yeah. Wait, why'd you type Lamau? I literally said it was my fault. But see, here's the thing, Twitch chat. When I was a cop, what I would do is I would go to incidents, I'd create an incident, I'd add the person, I'd add their charges, and then I would take a screenshot of it so that I had the correct value, so that I never charged the wrong fucking value. But apparently that extra step is really fucking hard for lawyers and cops. It's so hard.
Yeah. It wasn't that bad after all,
Nice.
30 days. We can all handle that.
Yeah, sure.
Congratulations.
you are
I just
legally
allowed
voted no to that one.
It it should be default values now.
All right.
I don't know if it is updated. Try resetting your MDT. I don't know I don't know if this is an effect that takes place after the storm, or if it is something that can be live changed.
I do not have firsthand experience aside from when someone pointed out that they had been changing in general. After which I
changed.
found out that you could change them, and that was like normal. But now there's conflict in what different people are seeing. That's what I'm bringing up now. So I don't really know what I'm looking for necessarily.
They're back to default values now. It looks like.
Yeah, failure to signal should be $60. It was $75 before because of the 25% increase. That was just like my base one that I always used to figure out what I was at.
Sick.
But yeah, that was just the first piece of major feedback that I got, like the most pressing one from amongst the lawyers. The other stuff, a lot of it sounds like just stuff I need to follow up with Malton's paperwork, but it's like inconsistencies between the number of days for a Malton request. In somebody's documentation it says 5 days, and somebody's documentation says 4 days. So I might have questions about that if there's insight. But
yeah, I got a
really.
question about the Malton process.
Yeah.
Why don't we name that the Murphy process? Because that motherfucker didn't do shit.
I'm
no
gonna be
one's
going
safe right
through
now. You're just
all
throwing
of
them
this
out
stuff.
there, aren't you, Max?
I'm chasing.
God damn.
I'm chasing down all the little inconsistencies. The main question I have, maybe Cornwood or the mayor can clear up here. With the Malton requests, I'm hearing from basically lawyers that they're being told that dispatchers can honor those requests, but then when they go to get them, only certain dispatchers are able to fulfill them. But there's nothing really like that I found written about that. Does anybody know like what I'm talking about?
No clue. I've never touched all that.
I can't see
So
the stuff.
Malton never talked
Yeah.
about any of this stuff. None of this stuff ever came up. Okay.
I know about it, but not
Honestly,
from Molten.
Not really. I don't think it was like the
Okay.
general concept I'm aware of, but I don't know the details.
Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up with this stuff because like there's different numbers of days being referenced by different departments. So I just had questions about that. The only other thing that I was told to mention, the lawyers brought up a bunch of stuff that doesn't necessarily come here, but the judges did mention that they wanted a pay increase.
Okay.
That's what the judges brought to me.
Do you think they deserve it?
I didn't have much time to think about that. The judges that brought it up to me were also sort of being very adversarial with me at the time. So mostly saying that I hadn't done enough for them yet and that they need more money. That's about all they've contributed. The lawyers have given me a lot of valuable feedback. The judges basically told me to go fuck myself and that they want more money. Hi, judges.
So
Damn.
can I just, when it comes to the money side to it, obviously everyone's gonna want more money. Like that's inevitable, right? I don't know how much we're at budget wise. I haven't looked at anything. I can't. Max, we probably got to talk about this at some point. By the way, just to see where people at.
I will say, after not investing into sanitation, the profits are through the fucking roof right now. Like super through the roof.
It's been going open market with investing over here in terms of mayoral spending. But yeah, so as long as I can get a guideline as to where we're at with things and then what we can actually play with shit, I mean, that's my only concern with blanket. Everyone wants more money. Like, can we afford that? Technically,
I will say we can afford that because most judges are lazy and do not even spend time in Los Santos.
that hurts my soul right there.
I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
I like the idea of what
like
Kate was saying
I've
about,
seen Norman and Murphy and Anastasia occasionally. That's it.
So
I like
Alan,
what Cantor was saying about the time clock. What was that?
Yeah, we have a time clock, an external one that we all have to.
Box and socks
log on
early.
to so I
Zip it.
can
E-crash
track
him, zip
all the hours. It's been that way for a long time. I just put them all into a sheet so I can get all the averages and things.
4 judges
I
on
don't know how that
council.
gets set up.
Yep.
That was a long time before me, but it's real useful for tracking.
So Alan said to me last night that we would work on drafting up a spiff program for court. So I think that pay issue is going to be addressed without having to get into hours for judges, and at least.
Okay, so incentives.
Yeah, TBD.
He was pretty.
Be like
yeah,
based on court case or something.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
fuck it. I mean that makes sense.
All right, let's talk more about the DOJ stuff when Crane isn't feeling unwell.
Infirm.
The only
Fair,
other thing
fair.
that we can talk about that I have to bring up is my initial plans about law school. I want to work mostly with Siobhan and Cornwood for the PD side of things on that. But I want to bring Mickey Sinclair into it too, because he did a whole school already that was really fun for everybody. So I want to get his perspective as a lawyer, try to make it fun for everybody who wants to attend, make it inviting for people who aren't even necessarily trying to become lawyers when we do them. Try to make it approachable and applicable to a lot of different lifestyles. So
Great
that's
idea.
kind of what I have. My initial plan is based around development, trying to recruit people, get the right people in the department to make court and sell reps. You know, a lot of fun to be a part of, and also really productive for our city and for people's rights and freedoms. And to the topic of morale that the mayor brought up, I think it's very, very relevant topic for the DOJ right now. We got a morale problem. It's feeling a lot like lawyers versus judges. In a lot of ways, that's what it was during the election, and that's kind of carried over a little bit. I think there's a little mistrust between the two groups. And again, I'm sort of
Wilt's
being
got
set up in
60%.
an adversarial position a little bit already. So I think we need to like iron some things out on that front. But nothing specific legislatively into week one. I had an
Right.
overtime election, so
You need
nothing
what you
really
need is like
written.
a little sit down between everyone.
I need Crane to be here, talk meaningfully on some of this stuff. But
Mhm.
yeah, mostly just cooking up law school ideas right now.
Okay.
Trying to get some of these paralegals a more meaningful track into the system, and future proof, as you put it, for lifelong learning programs, because we're in a fluid legislative environment. So lawyers need to be recertified basically over time, right?
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like basically quarterly. I'd say quarterly reviews would be pretty good for the legal profession at this.
Is this something that you would want to do yourself, or?
It would coincide with the law school.
Okay.
So basically, I'm designing this position that I'm in to synergize in a bunch of different ways. So I'm a practicing attorney, right? So as a practicing attorney, I can take paralegals or new attorneys, help them with their things, help develop them, do a law school, do all this stuff at the same time, and it all carries the same concepts forward. So as far as developing attorneys and doing a law school, you would have attorneys help do the law school quarterly, and at the same time recertify on current new legislation.
Okay.
So all that would, like, every 3 law schools, the lawyers would participate,
Crow,
and they
thanks
would
for subbing.
all get like tested on the past session of new laws.
Good jet. Half cam. I think that's a great idea, and
I love that.
I think that's just something you can do. I don't think we have to vote on that. I think.
No, we don't really have to vote on that. I just wanted to like float it because I had already spoken to Siobhan about it. She's been doing law schools with the PD and etc. And Cornwood's also a lawyer. We got a lot of bar certifications on the council, so
We sure do.
anything I come up with, I'm just gonna float it and see what the lawyers have to say, basically.
A judge let me pretend to be a judge for a court case once. I got that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did that. We did
That's
that
pretty
applet
cool.
panel thing.
They
See,
said
yeah.
that I could smurf. No, it was 5 years ago. I did a
Bathurst,
single
thanks for
court
subbing.
case all by myself.
Yeah, we did that applet panel, the one the other
Heard
with
Moon
the
said
thing the other
Sweden.
day, right? That was like judging.
Better than
Kind
Denmark.
of. I'll be honest. If I was judging, I would have never given Mr. K the pardon. But so it was a little different.
Big L.
And I had discussed also briefly with the chief of staff the concept of trying to uptick cell reps a little bit, get lawyers more down in the cells, and we discussed the potential for the necessary evil of just obligatory incentives
Time off
to call a
coupons.
lawyer. Yeah, I didn't want to put it that way.
Oh,
Just obligatory incentives, yeah.
Okay.
It sucks, but
I don't think it sucks. I think
it's all what you do with it, right?
yeah. I'm a fan of, look, I've heard a lot about what judges have to do for court cases, courtesy of my wife. and I understand that it is a very thankless job with the potential of even being dangerous if you rule in certain ways, and making it very unhospitable for you to exist within Los Santos at certain points, depending on how you rule. I think it's probably the most thankless job, straight up, just because of all the work that goes into it. So I'm 100% for incentives. 100%.
Okay. So yeah, for the judges, but what about for the lawyers, like the cell rep thing? Like, do you think that is like,
Maybe
what does everyone think of that? Because in the past, it's
How about
been
track-
helpful,
I
and
guess.
then it's been helpful, but then it's like it's become just like a cliche, or for lack of a better term, it's become just a card to use.
You know what we
I'll
could
call him down. Doesn't have anything to do. You get time off.
You know what
Whatever.
I was thinking? I was thinking that police officers shouldn't be allowed to negotiate charges unless a lawyer is there.
Yeah, like
idea.
if we
people might
if we
really
can be
hate
so
that.
bold as that, then I'm good with that. I honestly think that people really should rely on attorneys if they're available.
Would you expand it to legal aid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think the issue with that is, I mean, they have to present the charges in the first place. So just procedurally, right? It don't really make a lot of sense. Like,
Yeah, but
like
that's
at what point do you
presenting,
lock
not
it in?
negotiation.
No, I agree, but like, what's the lock-in point?
Omega poggers.
You know what I mean? Like, you present them and it's locked in. Okay, I can't talk about it no more until a lawyer's here.
Just something to think about. Something to think about.
I'm pretty against that because as an ex-cop myself, let's be honest, some of our dog shit charges and don't know anything about it.
Yep.
And so there are times where you do need to point that out. And there are some people around that are smart enough to go to bench trials and win them. I'm not a huge fan. Like, seriously, you just not being able to combat that or not being able to discuss it just feels, here's your shit, take it, and be on your fucking way and be done.
I think it could be good if there's like another wave of bar licenses issued. I think recently there was like 2 or 3 people given a bar.
Yeah, Alan had given a few people bars recently.
Do we have a
there's probably a few
rundown
more that could get them. What?
I was sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Do we have a rundown of how many bar certified lawyers there are throughout the day? Because what I wouldn't want to happen is that suddenly there's like a 6-hour period where anyone who gets arrested just isn't even afforded the ability to negotiate. There's no lawyers
There's
around.
been a lot of lawyers around lately.
What if
I actually took a screenshot on my phone yesterday. There was 10 lawyers in town.
what if
Wow.
What if police officers weren't allowed to negotiate so long as there was a lawyer listed in the lemon list?
Ooh.
Obviously, I'm not a criminal, but to give benefit of the doubt, I've heard people complain to me about how much their lawyer fucked them. I know some people would have strong concerns about this. I don't know if that's true. That might just be them being a fucking idiot. But I know some people would have very strong opinions about not.
I mean, that
being
sounds
able
like
to
a bar
there's
complaint, right?
Well, there's a few parts to this. One, just a lot of people doing crime, they don't understand the laws, and then they bitch and moan whenever. If you know the law too well, it's hard to, in good faith, like act like you're dumb as shit and that you don't know the law, right? That's just the truth. So when you have a lawyer, what happens to some of these guys? The police officer says, "Well, these are your charges."
Oh, clipping my
because of,
toenails.
A, B,
I've
C,
got like a
D,
candle lighter with like
whatever.
a thing on the end of it that I'm
then
flicking.
they're like, "Well, I don't want that charge."
Quasimodo, thanks for
I'm gonna talk to
subbing,
my
dude.
lawyer. And the lawyer is like, "Well,
Thank you very
you
much.
did that shit." Then
Welcome
they get mad
back.
at the lawyer, right?
Delete thanks for the giga.
Because the lawyer explains the law to them and they don't like it. I literally had
Commie
a guy
Cupcake, Sketchy
today.
Ritz, Loco Dan, thanks for subbing.
A guy today was complaining about shit, and then the lawyer explained to him what a Terry frisk was, and then he fired his lawyer and didn't want another lawyer.
Yeah, no, there's
no.
some dumb fucks. And,
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%,
like all right. I don't want to get into too deep in theory crafting about DOJ stuff again without Crane here. So like these are just sort of like table ideas for later for the most part. Some of the stuff.
Stop.
I don't know. I don't know if we can like codify a discount for lawyers or can't negotiate without a lawyer right here and now. But I mean, those are some of the things that have been tried. I mean, Siobhan, what do you think is like the more effective approach when it comes to getting lawyers more work?
Oh God.
There's only so much they can do themselves. So like, how can we help them
Some
without
people,
doing it for?
I don't find that a time off coupon is actually like sufficient, and I don't think. I'm sorry for using that term, but I don't think that it is the right incentive for
Hit
many
a bong,
people. It's
pendejo.
it's nowhere near. Uh,
About to hit the gritty, dude.
it's nowhere near valuable enough for them to have the longer engagement that a lawyer would take rather than getting back out there on them streets, right? Compounding that is a cultural thing. I'm not even sure that that's something that this council is prepared to do.
That's an
Yeah.
age-old problem.
Yeah,
It is a that is a yeah it's a problem as tales old as time.
Yeah, I mean, this came up earlier, right? Look at the amount of lawyers in this room. You know, we could put our heads together and we can figure some shit out throughout the week, right? Like let's
Yeah.
I think if anybody can figure this shit out, I think we're any group of people, I think we're among that group of people that can probably figure it out as best as anyone. So, you know, we could do that now, or we could do that another time when we haven't been here for 5 hours. I'm up for either. Okay,
It's been a big
I just don't want to. I just
This
don't want
has
to
been a
force
big
everyone to
one.
have a conversation.
We can move on.
That's
Okay.
why I've been trying to like yield my time. For,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I could feel it. Yeah.
Okay,
So, Murphy, did you have anything else at all?
I did.
First side to that, Secret Service is this now a deputized officer?
No.
No, not
Okay.
a deputized officer. No. That's just more like police numbers are thin. Can't spare officers to keep me attended. I've been kidnapped like 1 to 3 times a day for the last 10 days. Cornwood was really helpful, but he's got more responsibilities, and yeah.
Last two, I'm gonna be blunt. That's kind of what I'm proposing to do with this role now. So I don't particularly see too much of a need for the last two if that's what I'm doing effectively.
So for Secretary of Finance, I'm gonna be honest. We got Glenn in mind for this position.
The guy
I
who
do like
lost his
Glenn.
wife
Oh,
needs
yes,
a job.
yes. He did lose his wife.
He talks like a
He does need
vampire.
something. We could give him a hand out there.
You almost got your job, TJ.
He would've been good.
Yeah, he did say that. Thank you. But yeah, I'm very indifferent with those two because I kind of already have the thoughts to do those, and so I don't mind working with someone if that's the case. But yeah.
It would be working with them. It wouldn't be like me being like, but my secretary said this. It would be like 2 different data sets that we would be combining.
Yeah, I just don't want to go to a situation where essentially what is going to happen is you get the information data from his side to it. I get it from my side as well. And there becomes a disconnect as to who to trust with it or information of where it's coming from or what the purview is. I get that if you want to have someone that is personally in charge of informing you of things as a non-biased and very neutral type of party that is technically my side's my job. Yeah, that's why I said I don't mind working with them. I just don't want a separation of it.
What's the decision process for who gets these positions? Just kind of an interview process based on their experience or something, or how does this get fulfilled?
Sorry, say it again.
How do these positions get filled? Are you gonna have like an interview process?
Yeah,
Base it off of
yeah.
their experience and
We'll
everything?
do interviews. Yeah.
Who do you have in mind for the Secret Service job?
As someone who
anyone.
looked after the personal security for 3 mayor's offices 5 years ago, I would love to be in on those interviews for that position.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Shit.
would prefer to have these like direct line to the people that are actually on the council, other than just like all going to one. Truthfully, like if you have Secret Service, that goes with Cornwood, right? I guess if you want to go with the other ones, I mean, press can go with whoever. But yeah,
Well, I think it should be like it's almost like it doesn't just go to me. It's like chief of staff or the PD liaison, right? Like it should be like both, maybe, like instead of just going straight to the PD liaison. Because if they want to go straight to Siobhan about something for the Secret Service, I think that would be fine.
It's my staff.
Yeah,
Chief
'cause
of
it's
staff.
hers.
It's my staff. It is not the council staff. It's my staff.
Why is it only your staff, though? I guess is the question. Why
Yeah,
would this
I
not
just don't
benefit the entire city through the council?
Correct.
Why is it only your staff? What does that benefit?
like, I don't think you should be asserting yourself with commerce, labor, and finance if we have someone
When there
doing it
are
already.
other positions, yeah.
Correct.
That's what I thought. If it comes to the council, I've no issue at all. But why is it only under you?
Technically, it says mayoral cabinet, so it's the mayor and myself.
Mhm.
I'm gonna again just say that this was something that Alan had initially envisioned for the role. He's the one who gave me this idea, so that's why.
All right. Well, I think we should have him here with it then, if that's the case. I don't want to create 2 divisions of the same work being done by different people for the sake of just doing it.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea. Don't get me wrong. This isn't a shutdown. I'm just confused about the details.
I mean, I honestly,
I think that having 2 different people working on the same thing is important. And my wife and I, we proved this when we were going through incident reports together to do the police audit. We double checked each other's work, so we were able to justifiably present an accurate number. You know, that's what the sort of they wouldn't be limiting your freedom to do your job, TJ, because I'm looking forward to working with you, because it seems already that you are leagues better and more possessed of initiative than the last treasurer. It is important. I've met a lot of talented people in Los Santos, and there have been many people that I wished I could bring on as a government employee to work with when it comes to legislating, when it comes to decision making, and to keeping our fingers on the pulse of the city on large. And it is very important that we are able to delegate like this, because otherwise some things might slip through the cracks. So I just want to put your fears to rest. I would not value a Secretary of Commerce and Labor or Secretary of Finance. I would not value their opinions over yours, because I know your experience, I know what you're capable of, and I know what your intentions are. And it I don't think I could say the same for just about anyone that would be interviewing for these roles. So think of it more as creating an environment for us to collaborate with just more than me and you.
No, sure. And I actually, believe me, I appreciate that more. And I'll give you a little bit of a history context behind this. When I didn't get the first time, Crane and actually Etta both asked me at the time to consult, right? And they were told that there was no funds available for it. So I did not end up doing it. Yes. So where I'm coming from is I'm open to that, because it had been something that I had been looking forward to. And I don't want to, if someone is interested in it, dissuade them from not potentially working their way if that's something they're looking for the next term, right? So I'm more than happy to do that, because I know the feeling of kind of being fucked over with that. And I would rather work with them rather than have them be no offense, Siobhan, but reporting into you with that.
So the thing is the role, every single role listed in this cabinet, they are designed to better inform me on how to interact with various aspects of the city, and that's why it's called the mayoral cabinet, right? It is so that I can have a meeting with my Secretary of Commerce and Labor and Secretary of Finance, and maybe discuss the current state and trajectory of the economy of Los Santos. And then I can be better educated to go later meet with you, so that when we discuss it, we can get some real fucking work done, instead of you having to, like, you know, for example, in theory, if I'm so far out of touch with it, you having to explain everything to me, because what would be preferable is that we get the explanation part out of the way on my own time with my own secretaries, so that we can get straight to work.
Can I just to add to this? There are times where there is one guy for the job, right? I mean, there's absolute times where it's valid. There's only one person working on something. It's just what it is. It has to be on a case by case basis. I think something like this. Yeah, but I do think something like this, what it does, and this is speaking from the perspective of the police department, an issue that the police department is having right now is that we used to have a lot of very, very experienced people who ran shit. And those people are, you know, they've, unfortunately, some of them passed away, some have moved on, and they ain't around no more. And the police department was not in a position to where you had younger folks, like new blood, trained up properly to be able to be able to take the torch and run with it right off the rip, which has caused us some problems within the PD. So to this point, I mean, having these folks come in and get a taste of what it's like to be involved in some of the political side of things, even if they don't have the responsibility of that of the people in this room, I think provides a lot of value for us, not only to be able to give them that experience, but also for us to be able to evaluate them as well as potential candidates for something more important down the road.
And that's entirely
that.
fair. There's nothing wrong with that. Believe me, I'm not like I'm not absolutely hating on it. I'm just trying to get the questions behind what is a thought as to why these are needed, so that it's explicitly clear why they are needed.
So that I can most accurately do my job. I spent a lot of time. There weren't enough hours in the day to these secretaries are effectively. These are all things that the mayor should be good at, and I think I am pretty good at most of these. I'm good at talking to people to discover, trends, and I'm good at with my fingers on the pulse of the city. I think I've figured out the economy pretty well. Not to say that there isn't room for improvement in any of these, and that's what my personal staff would be able to do. This is stuff that I could do right now, stuff that I have already begun considering to do right now. The purpose of this presentation is to allow these people to be classified as government employees so that they can receive a paycheck for doing their work. Which I did discuss this with Alan last night, and I'm not going to put words in his mouth or anything like that. He suggested that they... so originally, when I brought it up, it was a... I was suggesting that they be given a different sign-in so as to allow them to be paid for their work. Alan told me that that probably wasn't possible, but that what could happen is that they could be allowed... to sign in as council members so that, they're able to fill that role for me and do that work for me and have access to the reports to contribute even more to our burgeoning government. And it seemed like things were above board. So that's why we are presenting this.
I will add that the Secretary of Finance position was not there until last night when Alan suggested it. So that was a newer addition. And I can't quite remember his rationale at the moment, but I remembered that it was sound.
Yeah, not having it would be, this conversation kind of hurts. So having that would be nice.
So they'd be on the same pay rate as us. I'm assuming there'd be some check here to make sure they're actually completing all of these duties with the time allotted to them.
Yeah, I mean, they serve at our leisure.
Concerns there. Right, so they
Fuck
should
off,
only
they're
be
gonna get
signed
fired.
on when requested to work with you, or is this is this just something where people are gonna sign
Well, these
on
are
and hang
trusted
out and wait for you to
positions
call?
held. These are trusted positions held to the same standards, right?
There's a hell of a lot
As
of
us when
people
it
in that
comes to
trusted
the
position.
lack. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people in this room too, right? With no felonies, right, of any kind. So they are being held to strict and high standards. I mean, I'll give you an example right now. For Secretary of Parks and Rec, I am thinking like Andy
Sure.
Jones,
Okay.
right? Especially Pride is
100%.
coming up. We need to plan Pride. We got less than a month now to plan Pride. We need to have events. We need to get stuff going. Andy's going to be a perfect person to assist with that. And I want to make sure that she's compensated for the amount of work that she's going to do when she does that, because it is a lot of effort.
She's a doctor, so you can't steal her. That's fucked up.
I might steal her.
I will say...
No, it's okay.
I will say that I don't even give a shit if these people are signed in all the time. Because at the end of the day, if they're making $900 an hour, they could instead be making $4,000 an hour towing.
Okay,
you know what I'm
so
saying?
raise our doctor pay. You want to keep us at 500, but you want to hire these 6 people that can sit there doing potentially nothing all the time for 900?
Yeah. And
Okay,
you have been given...
justify that.
I have already justified that if you were listening 3 hours ago.
Not nearly enough. I was willing to let it go if it was a big raise of EMS pay, but if we are requesting more government funds to go towards things that, to be frank, I don't see completely necessary, it's fine if we want them, that's okay. How does that make it reasonable to leave us with 500 when we have to actively be saving people's lives every second of every day that
Do
we're
you think
signing.
I shouldn't have staff?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying raise our pay. That's different.
How about
Okay.
how about this? Let's put it to a vote. As written now, I would like to establish these roles to be interviewed, which I would love to collaborate with you guys on. In interview, you guys, all of you are welcome to sit on those interviews if you want. I move to classify these people to be announced, whoever they are, who must be free of felonies, to assist my wife and I in the many multifaceted aspects of operating government in Los Santos as government employees to be paid the same as council members. I am a yay, Mr. TJ Walker.
I'm a nay because I haven't heard from Crane's side, it's his brainchild.
It's my brainchild.
What the hell? I'm being told two different
Well,
Siobhan
things now.
specifically said it was Crane's idea.
No, Crane
What
originally
he initially envisioned for the role. That's
the
different.
reason that there was not a staff for the mayor is because it was too weighty to fill out 16 roles as opposed to 8. All of you could have your own staff. All of you. We are taking the initiative. Mr. Solomon Walker.
I'm gonna be a nay for now.
Miss Philippa Cantor.
Nay.
Mr. Cletus Cornwood.
So you're basically making jobs for people in Los Santos.
Yes. Job
And
creation.
you're gonna provide them with an opportunity to be involved on a higher level with some of the bigger things in the city. Give them an opportunity to learn. They're not councilmen or councilwomen,
Correct.
but they are essentially getting the opportunity to learn, grow. Absolutely, yes.
Mr. Head of Bar Braun.
I have my own misgivings about this, but at the end of the day, I think in terms of future proofing,
This is
if
a
you win
very
the big
important vote.
election, then you should get to bring your people with you in some way, shape, or form. I don't see any harm in creating positions at various levels of expertise that may or may not help the mayor achieve their agenda. If those positions are accountable, same as any other, then I'm good with it.
Okay. Chief of Staff Siobhan Thoroughbred.
Yup.
And I vote yay. The motion to establish the mayoral
fine.
cabinet as government employees has passed 4-3. Wait.
All right. Next week I will bring forward my staff that I will propose.
Okay.
There you go. As you suggested.
I can't get in the MDT.
Well, shit, I want a staff.
Yeah. Why don't we all get it then? Fuck
We
it.
could.
Since this isn't under us.
I'm not trying to be difficult with it. I'm just trying to get the full clarification of this stuff, right? This is like the first time I've been hearing about this. So the historical components with it. If you don't bring people in, Parks, Recs, etc. Nancy Drew back in the day did a fucking amazing job with that. I know Andy is always planning shit, and that's great. Just how everything functions with it, and not hearing kind of the side of Crane who was putting this stuff together. That was where I needed to hear first.
Okay.
I think-
Go on.
I was just gonna. I think this is great. This is gonna enable the growth of folks here in the city that hey, we need new blood. We need people to get that opportunity and really get to learn on the fly instead of getting thrown in the fire.
Agree. All right. What else, Chief of Staff?
Whistleblower Protections Act. This is report 5273. Oh, we have some notes in here. Well, that's fine. We can explain those if anyone has the same questions. This is essentially an act just expanding some of the powers of the Civilian Oversight Board to actually provide protections to whistleblowers, since they already hear, certain complaints and whatnot, to provide and extend protection for anonymity when it calls for it. And And since it's at a bar, I figured out the DOJ can figure it out. Any
Can
questions?
the Civilian Oversight Board not do this? Isn't this their whole point?
When it comes to protecting whistleblowers specifically from retaliation by their superiors or colleagues, I wanted this codified. I think it's important due to the chilling effect.
Yeah,
The
people looking over the
chilling
damn
effect.
shoulder all the time.
The chilling effect is a legal concept that the threat or fear of specific repercussions can cause somebody to not practice their like civil rights or their civil
Boeing got
Civic
another
duties.
one.
Okay, okay.
So this is to combat the chilling effect for whistleblowing.
What sort of protections then? Their identities, the ability to report certain information anonymously, report their whistleblowing activity to the head of bar, or head of Civilian Oversight Board, which is the head of bar.
Right, yeah, but I'm specifically using the phrasing on Civilian Oversight Board because I wanted to expand the power of the Civilian Oversight Board. Let the head of that department, right, do as they see fit.
I cops are predisposed to retaliation when something like this happens from the police department. I think whistleblowing is super important. Super important, because there's a lot of stuff that can go under the radar and go unnoticed almost forever. Because people, it's especially dangerous for the police department to not have any whistleblower protection, because there are a lot of people who cannot fly into Los Santos because they have a fucking cop visa, you know, and at times it can be a bit scary to have that threatened. If you were to ever, like, if you're ever to witness some fucked up shit and you're like, okay, maybe I should tell someone about this, but they're afraid to tell someone about it because they're afraid that they're not going to be able to make it to Los Santos because they've been fired for telling someone about it. And that is a power dynamic that is absolutely fucking reprehensible to me. And I am 100% for something like this. What do you think, Cornwall? You're a cop.
I think you're right about. You are right about the fact that there is a legitimate fear for your job whenever you bring shit up, and it's not about an individual experience. I mean, hell, look back at what happened with me, right? I had a list of 12 names that came to me that did not want to speak to command above my head, and I was nothing more than a fellow officer to these guys, and I kind of became their voice, you know. I mean, hell, that's the reason why I'm sitting here in this chair today. It's because I had the most votes in the PD for the liaison position.
Right.
I wrote one word in my application, and it's because they know I get shit done. Regardless, I think this is important, even if it's not like that anymore. And I do think that there needs to be something that connects. There's got to be some effort made before it's, hey, you know, this is bad, you know, run away. There's got to be some effort made before it goes to a place outside the department.